I can't remember if Look Who's Talking 2 was Look Who's Talking 2 was the second one or the third one. Because it would make more sense for it to be the second one, but also I don't trust that franchise to have been competent enough to do that.
This is true. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to Crabby D&D. I'm here with my players, Beau.
Hello.
Cat.
Yo.
Kirv.
Hello.
Mortar.
Hiya.
Romulus.
Hello.
And Vinny.
Hello.
We are here once again. So, are we all sitting comfortably for today's session?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, tell us a story.
Oh, I will. Welcome back. Last session was quite the show, huh? No? Well, let's get a quick reminder. In your previous escapades, Beau, Cat, Kirv, Mortar, Romulus, and Vinny, you'd left the circus without the goose, unfortunately. Yet your spirits weren't down, as you returned to Braylin to acquire your bounty and meet up with Theomar, Ellie Fleethoof's grandfather, the leader of the Beastlands. With Kirv and Mortar going to the pub to chat things out, Beau and Vinny collecting the bounty at the mercenaries' catwalk, and Ellie and Romulus returning to the Twisted Tap, you enter the magnificent mansion. About 20 seconds prior to current events, the two of you enter into the magnificent mansion. The otherwise quiet but long hallway going on for maybe 2 or 3 alcoves, busts and pictures, stained glass windows behind letting in this fake and faux magical light. The door behind you closing as Onveki shuts it as you enter. As you walk within, not far down the corridor, you see an opening, a large cylindrical chamber. You see that the roof is otherwise domed, and it is made up of these wooden panels that make up the exterior of this chamber. Several doors lining the outside, a few seem to have symbols or names on them. You can see Theomar, you can see Ellie Fleethoof as well. It brings back memories for you, Cat. And in the centre of this chamber is a sand pit. In that instant, as Romulus, you feel a little bit concerned looking at this. It looks strangely enough like an arena. And you watch as Theomar draws his wand, looks to Ellie, and says, "Let us see if you can prove yourself." And as he stamps a hoof against the sand, Ellie is pulled through the exterior of this sand pit and is dragged into the centre of the sand pit opposite Theomar, as the sand at the exterior begins to pull upwards, almost as if torrented by air, forming this shield or wall around the exterior. As you go to reach Romulus to try and stop this from happening, you feel a forearm otherwise you feel your shoulder grabbed and then a forearm pinned against your chest, as whispering in your ear, Hearn, kind of close to you, "This isn't your fight. Don't get involved," before releasing his grip a little bit more, as if to allow you the freedom of your own nature. In this moment, Cat, Theomar looks at you, his wand drawn to one side. You can feel Terador's presence as he has been pulled into this area as well. And the massive chamber itself, the sandpit expanding on for almost, I'd say, nearly 60 feet in any direction. Very much like a Colosseum in certain degrees. You can see Theomar's 2 elementals, the otherwise crackling air serpent in the air and the large earthen crab with the sections of carapace that are kind of hardened spikes in places, as they both stand there. Theomar, his wand drawn to one side. Go to see if you have what it takes, and to see if you've lost your edge. And looks to you, Cat. What do you do?
Just in complete surprise. Just seriously?
He puts up his index finger with his wand in one hand. Never give your opponent an opening or a weakness, and he is going to initiate combat by casting a spell against you.
Right. I wanted to talk. Bro wants to blow me out.
So,
Delightful.
here's what we're going to do. We're not going to roll for initiative. This is going to be entirely an RP-based combat.
Oh.
As Theomar, in this instant, swings his wand downwards, you watch as portions of the sand begin to harden into earth, and he otherwise tosses what looks to be almost this large section of clumped earth towards you. You have a moment to react.
I'm going to override and put the shield rune on that.
Okay. As you override, what does it look like?
There's kind of like a crystalline hand, but there's ooze between the joints. It's not completely crystalline anymore. As it grabs it, and as the crystal makes in contact with Cat, it forms almost like her sentinel ward, crystalline sort of carapace upon her body.
Okay. As the earthen ball or projectile that shot towards you collides with the fist in place, the otherwise taking the blow onto the crystalline hand. As the ball pushes and pushes, I believe Override needs to make a test in order to override the spell.
Override works exactly as a counter spell. I will be casting it at 5th because I ain't giving this man a chance.
Okay. As that happens, the override hits, and as it punches through the crystal, it shatters and begins to form into an aegis around you. As Theomar stands there and looks, you see there's a slight smirk on one side, but he kind of remains stoic. Good. He puts up 2 fingers this time. You are not weak in the same way that you were. You are prepared to fight even those within family.
I think you misunderstand this. I don't want to fight, but I will protect myself. Also, she'll shout, Romulus, you okay? While doing that, I'm going to be bringing out Paladin.
You just hear a very on edge Romulus.
Yeah. And it'll be
If
through
you
your
can
telepathic
hear me.
bond. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Currently, you two are connected. Everybody else has lost theirs because you're in an extra-dimensional plane at the moment.
You can do this, Cat. Ellie, I am here. Do you want me to intervene?
No, because you'll only get hurt.
Worth it.
Second, and you feel his hand clasp your shoulder as you turn back and look at him. No distractions. As you take... I'll say, actually no, instead of doing damage, this will shatter the crystal aegis around you as you feel this sudden surge of grounding electricity shoot through you. As the pain rocks you in that moment, he releases his grip, and with a single swish as Terrador begins to emerge to defend you, you watch with a single swish the air serpent cuts between him and Terrador, otherwise slicing a section in the ground in front before the serpent and Terrador almost begin to face off, the crab moving behind, slamming the ground with its claws almost in a posture of let's go.
I did just bring out Trellodex. He is here.
Okay. You'll bring out Troldex. Okay. I'll say the crab is probably going to face off against Trellodex then. Just
Can I
slamming
be
its claws
making an
against the
inside
sand.
check in the background?
Go for it.
I'm going to be making an insight check, essentially to determine, do I think Cat is in any real danger? Doesn't matter how small, do I think Cat is in any real danger? That is a 24.
She is outclassed. Yes. She is in danger, but again, you don't know if he will go so far as to kill his only granddaughter.
How far away is she, and what is it in between us?
In between is a wall of almost these particles of sand that are flowing upwards, but you feel like it will slow you. From your first reaction to it, it will slow and try and repel and push you away if you try and interfere. Additionally, Hearn seems to be on the guard to keep an eye on you.
And the distance between us is?
Probably about 30 feet.
I can work with 30 feet, thank you.
I'll say 20 feet because actually it's a 60-foot arena. So yeah, it'll be about 20 foot because Cat's near the middle.
Okay. I'm going to be trying to reason to some degree with her and see if there's any movement there. I doubt it, but it's worth a try whilst Cat isn't immediately in danger.
Okay, what did you say?
I understand you have a duty, but I have one as well. If she is in danger, I will defend her. I don't care what you do to me. Do you understand?
Hearn looks at you and, with a snort, he seems to size you up.
If there's any chance to sort of like do an intimidation check here, not to try and intimidate exactly, but sort of show that Romulus is not kidding and is very serious.
I was going to do the same, so go for it.
Pretty good. I believe with how my specific intimidation works, that should be a 26.
That's good. I got a 36.
This is fair. This
You-
is fair. I'm
In this
as long as
moment,
I'm being taken seriously,
yeah,
that's what
in
matters.
this moment, you feel this is a stare of strength. And in this moment, you look at Hearn and you... If to anyone else, you look at Onveki and you feel that this 28 almost punches straight through Onveki, and Onveki is not necessarily scared, but realizes the strength difference between the two of you. Onveki is a caster. Onveki is relatively strong, but is on par with you. Is able to maybe resist the effects of this intimidation to a certain extent. Hearn, however, you feel his gaze in return. And it is far worse. In this moment, you don't necessarily feel fear, but you understand that to try and interfere here,
I understand I would lose.
you would lose.
That's okay.
You see the
Doesn't matter to
scars, you see the marks of battle. They are not displayed like relics by any means, but underneath the fur, you see bite marks, you see scars. And as he does this almost in this moment to flex, they become a bit more visible, and you can see the clear puncture marks of what may have once been a dragon's bite that has clearly torn through a section of his torso, but has since healed and scarred over.
I don't bow away from it. I know it's intimidation, but it isn't fear I feel. It is
No,
just
it's not fear.
understanding that I am outclassed.
Yeah, this is a moment of
What-
comparing strengths.
What I say to follow is very simple. Like I said, I don't care what happens to me, but I will protect her with my life, even if it is pointless.
And what if what you do would get her killed? I am aware of the creature and how it reacts on emotions. Don't put her through more turmoil than she's already in. I've known her longer than you. Doesn't give me any right to say otherwise. She's as much as my daughter as she is yours. And he turns and continues watching, his hand atop his axe, almost very much in a...
Daddy?
You can see that he
No,
is.
I'm sorry. No. This fucker comes in
Her-
after.
Hearn,
what
he's
are we
cool.
at?
He's cool,
How
Uncle
many sessions
Hearn.
are we in?
Yeah.
He's cool, Uncle Hearn. He walks in. He's got his axe. He's got a 4-pack of beer. He's waiting for you to,
I'm just gonna like
be old enough
I'm
to
just
drink
gonna
it.
like let out a huff and just like mutter on her breath. Bastion, Uncle. She's already got 3 of those.
Don't worry, I know I'm not the first uncle either.
But
There is a
but
kinship
no,
in
I-
knowing that Hearn isn't happy with the situation either. You get the sense that mercilessly killing Cat is not the intention here.
Mhm.
Puts you at ease.
I will still be keeping an eye, and
Of
I will
course.
essentially be preparing myself for a moment to. I can't physically step in, and I will immediately get taken out by Hearn. But if I think she's in any real danger, I am ready with my numerous bullshit of reactions.
Yep, that's fine. So is he.
Not unexpected. Not unexpected.
He is just a higher level version of you. Like, I intended already for him to go down this path, and you're taking the exact same path as him.
I mean, this is kind of helpful for me in terms of like getting a boost up there, but also, ooh dear.
Yeah. So, Cat, in this moment, as that feel of electricity shoots through you, you hear Romulus reply that he's okay. Focus on the fight at hand, Ellie. There are many fights that you nearly lost. As he begins to kind of scrape his hoof along parts of the sand, you watch as he waves his wand in the air almost absently, and you watch as images of the Herald of Husk appearing. You see images of the Thorn Reaper. You see images of the creature within Glasson. Your court date is coming up. You cannot control the creature. That is what they fear. I am what stands between you and them. Now you need to prove to me that you can fight. No matter the cost. You watch as he outstretches a hand, and you feel this sudden wave of emotion begin to sweep through you. I would like you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
No.
You're trying to beat his DC of 24.
Oh, fuck off. No, that's not happening. That's a 16.
Okay. As this wave of emotion sets in, you begin
We
to
don't want to type the
see...
chaos in.
You can try.
As I need a nat 20.
You need a
to
nat
be able to get
20.
that.
Yeah. In
Like,
this...
I'd rather.
Yeah, he is stacked. But then again, that's what you expect from your grandfather, the leader of the Beastlands.
Yeah, if he's not like at least level 18, something's off with the power scale in here.
Oh, yeah. No, the people in charge are the people who are the most powerful. He was a warlord of his time, so... Yeah. He looks at you, and as his outstretched hand is there, you feel almost this darkening of emotion, and you feel as if you are sinking within, deeper and deeper, before you see a wall of dark tar-like material, eyes and teeth chattering. You feel a wave of fear, pain, and agony wash over you as you're there floating before the vastness of the creature. You begin to mutter, and Romulus, from what you are seeing with kind of these split images, you see Cat almost begin to step back and begin to clutch the sides of her head as you watch as Sychania worms around, and as Sychania goes to almost calm or touch Cat, you watch as the crab's claw snatches at Sychania, where Treladex's concentration is gone, and you watch as Sychania is pulled to one side by the crab claw. Cat, you hear within your mind your grandfather's voice. Fight it.
I
Is our
completely shut out.
telepathic contact still there?
Yeah.
Cat. You can fight it. it will be okay. Whatever happens, I'm here. I'm hoping for that provides some help, I don't know.
She completely shuts out her granddad because she knows this is antagonizing. But the last time she confronted this creature, she won. She met that old man. So just hyperfixating, knowing that she's doing better than others have done. She can do this. She'll get the two figures of her parents out of her pack and she'll focus on trying to free them over paying attention to the creature.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an intelligence check. And for this, you will add your proficiency bonus as well, which I believe is a +4, so intelligence plus the 4.
Okay, so that is an intelligence check. Oh god, that's 16. I might Ties the Chaos that one, actually.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, good lord.
If you want wild magic to go off, what better place? I'll allow one more use of this.
Sure.
And I will say that the only reason I'm going to allow this, because mechanically you shouldn't be able to, I'm going to allow it because Romulus was able to contact you and tell you you could do it as an extra aid in this.
Okay, well, that's
So 18.
18.
Go ahead and roll your result on wild magic.
82. I don't think that's a bad one. I'm pretty sure I've had that before.
Let's find out. Okay. Roll again for me.
Oh.
And take the higher.
And what, the D100 or D20?
The D20. As this allows you to immediately take an additional action, so I will give you advantage as part of it. Okay, so we'll stick with the 10.
The 10.
So an 18. As you hold the figurines and you begin to push mentally through the creature to try and search, trying to find, you feel hands grasp, beginning to tear and pull at your mental image that you have sent through in search of them. As it begins to wither, being to be pulled apart, you feel as if your skin is peeling from your bone, and you feel the rawness of it slowly but surely shaking you. I would like you to take 50 points of psychic damage.
Cool.
You know.
Okay, this is going to sound weird. Because we're telepathically connected, is there any way I can try and take some of that for her?
Ooh.
I will say that with your use of the stone rune, I will allow you to take it.
I presume you mean Cloud Rune.
Cloud rune. Yes.
As much as I would love to spend my stone rune on this,
yes.
I suspect
the
that
other
is
one.
not going to. Yeah, Cloud Rune. I'll take this.
Okay, you take
and
the 50.
I'm well aware that this could be very vital and could end with me being shanked.
No. As you do this, you begin to feel almost this headache within. And Veki and Hearn turn to you in this moment. As you're grabbing the side of your head, a little bit of blood almost beginning to trickle out of your snout as you kind of begin to rub it away. I will say go ahead and roll me your choice of a performance or a deception check. Or
I mean, they're both shockingly bad.
Or, actually no, what might work better for this? A constitution check.
Check or save, just to confirm.
Check.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Constitution just makes more sense for Romulus. I'm trying to endure it. I'm trying to not trying like make forms. I'm trying to physically endure it.
Okay.
A one-time Constitution check, actually.
14. Not amazing, but not terrible. Exceedingly average.
You, clutching the side of your head, you manage to push through on the majority of the pain, wiping away the blood from your nose. Hearn gets a sense that something is up, but doesn't seem like they want to do anything about it yet. He's willing to let this one slide.
That's fair.
This was if you got 10 or lower, this would have been a Hearn steps in.
Yeah,
as you weren't able to take it. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, no, go for it.
Can I try and offer another word of wisdom type deal?
Go for it.
The image isn't everything. Remember, this is your mind. Don't think about what they look like. Think about how they feel. They're your parents. You love them. Follow that.
Okay. On that note, then, Kat will go to what she hopes to return to, the thing she wants the most. You know, hugging her mum, hugging her dad, sitting and reading or hearing her dad read a story, and her mum plaiting her hair. Just the good times that she remembers and loved. A few times she managed to spend time with both her parents at the same time.
Okay. In this moment, I just rolled for the crab and for Cychania. As the crab is holding Cychania back, or it tries to, it rolled with advantage and got a natural 1 and a natural 5. Cychania got a natural 2, but has a higher strength modifier due to the nature of what Cychania is. As Cychania pulls through and almost cracks a bit of the shell, Cychania dives for your head, and in this moment, Romulus, you watch as Cychania stops just at the edge of Kat's forehead, and you watch as her light pulses and waves over it. I will give you advantage on the next roll, as Cychania is going to cast Calm Emotions to try and help steady you. Before the crab grabs with its other claw and is going to wrench Cychania back again.
Okay.
So, go ahead and roll me another intelligence check. Natural 20.
Love to see that. Love to see it.
As you reach out in this moment, you push through, you feel the fortified nature of the feelings, the emotions, the memories begin to act like a shield, a shell, forming around you as the mental image begins to wander through. You feel in this moment as if the exterior of it begins to dissipate, as if it's now no longer affecting you. And you hear a voice speak within your mind. Do you really think this will work? And as your eyes shoot open, you see that the tar wall is gone. A humanoid figure stands before you. Cloaked with unnatural shadow, arms held before them, fingers laced but pointed, with their thumbs touching. Their thumb and their 7 fingers. As they look towards you, you feel a burning red gaze staring back at you. The many mouths on its form chittering and chatting, the eyes shifting and swimming across its body as it stands there. You feel the mental image sunk deep within it. You can try to get them back, but don't take too long. I will consume you. I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Still with advantage because of the calm emotions?
I'll say yeah. This will be the fleeting end of it. The intelligence check was a success. You need a set number of these to find what you're looking for. It's not just one. What's the total?
You said a wisdom save, right?
Mm-hmm.
22.
22. You pass. These are for the moment a flat 20 because the creature has been suppressed by 2 levels of Cychania. As you feel these words begin to almost cut deep, you only take 10 points of psychic damage as you feel it trying to influence you, trying to shred that form, which is almost infuriatingly hard for it to use, to try and hurt, to try and get to. You feel the anger and the uncertainty in what you are doing.
don't really respond. I just look at it. It's just like, I know that if I've interacted with it, it's always gone bad. If I don't interact with it, don't give it what it wants, then it can't win, right? So I'm just going to carry on focusing. I can feel the warmth of the words from Romulus. I guess I can feel Titania's around, because obviously there were bursts of energy in the Carmine. I'm just going to focus on the things that I know that are there. Romulus told me last time I lost it was I'm not on my own, and I have got others. So I'm going to focus on my party. I'm going to focus on my friends. Focus on Romulus's words. Like, you're nothing. Like, you aren't anything. You live in me. In me. Right? You're not in control. She'll just keep muttering that to herself.
Romulus, you watch as Theomar slowly approaches Cat, before placing his thumb on her forehead and his forefinger just behind where the horn hairband is on her head. And you watch as he gestures and you see Hearn turn and bolt towards the door. The door you came in from. Remember,
Can I use
Cat. You feel
Can I
things...
try?
Sorry, go for it.
Can I try an insight on what exactly is going on between Hearn and like what was going on with that order there with Hearn?
I will say, use insight for this, but use intelligence for the base instead of wisdom, as this is going to be more of a connecting things together to note what's happening. And if you figure it out and roll high enough, I will personally send you the message instead of say it.
That is a 22.
That will do it.
Depending on the answer depends on how Romulus is acting immediately after this, so that's why I had to interrupt.
That's fine.
Okay. Hearn's away from me currently.
Correct. He has run towards the door. And, Kat, you feel a presence, your grandfather's presence, pushing against your mind. An opposing force, to be sure, but I would like to ask you, would you like to make a saving throw against this to resist Theomar's effect, or let it happen?
I am going to use everything. I will suddenly just... My main concentration is I can't let this creature have the last member of my family. I'm going to resist with everything that I've got.
Okay, go for it. Make me a wisdom saving throw.
19.
19. As Theomar pushes this almost magic into your mind, you begin to feel something begin to unravel. Pieces of threads that are almost caught and knotted begin to become straight once more. You begin to feel memories ping into place, things that you didn't know, things that you remember. You see images of you as a child. You see the memories of wandering with your grandfather, heading to Hammerwind, heading to the other cities during the important meetings. And as you're looking around, I would like you to make me a perception check.
Oh, God, my perception sucks ass.
DC for this is 10.
Okay, I have a -1. Okay.
12.
Well,
You note your arm, where the creature is now, is lined with these thin blue, you wouldn't quite call them tattoos, and you wouldn't quite call them veins, symbols that are covering your hand, your arm, and your elbow as they extend up towards your shoulder. You don't remember those.
Do I understand any of them? Are any of the symbols looking familiar?
They are
Is it a language?
They are arcane in nature. They look very similar to your spells, the ones that you drew in your spellbook.
I'm gonna try and work out what's happening here. How are my spells suddenly appearing on my arm?
Roll me your choice of an insight or intelligence check.
I'm gonna go with intelligence because my insight sucks.
Okay.
Intelligence check, yeah, +4. That's a 10.
10? You don't know. This is sudden, this is unknown, you don't know what's going on here. I'd like you to make me another intelligence check to try and continue proceeding through the creature.
It's a 13.
Remember, you get the +4 from your proficiency with this, so it would be
Okay,
17.
that's a 17.
You begin to try and push through. You feel these waves of memories from Theomar. You feel these waves of energy from the creature resisting you. It is your choice whether you wish to push on. You have one success so far. You don't know out of how many that you'll need. You can choose to take back the success and take no damage, or continue and take 30 damage.
What do I believe that the pushing on is going to achieve?
As in, which one?
Like by continuing and trying to pushing on, taking damage.
Potentially getting your parents.
I'm pushing on.
Okay, you take the 30 points of damage. Romulus,
Do I see her taking damage?
you feel the mental nature of her beginning to almost fray, but she's not broken. Not yet. She's being bombarded by whatever this creature is.
I need to do an insight check specifically on Theomar.
Go for it.
Do I think that what he is doing will help protect Cat?
I will say roll me one insight check and an arcana check.
Okay, start off with the insight because I got advantage on that, and that'll sort of dictate how this goes.
Yeah.
Oh, natural 20.
Natural
so that's
20.
Like a 30.
I'll give you advantage on the
Um,
arcana check then.
I will need it. Pretty good. My arcana is, I believe, +1, so 19.
19. You know this spell. It's different when Theomar casts it, but you've seen Sychania cast Modify Memory. And as you begin to almost recoil, the natural 20 from your insight lets you know that he is restoring memories that may have been taken away. Ones that she needs to remember who she is.
Okay.
With that,
I'm...
Hearn throws open the door. Kirv, Mortar, Beau, and Vinny, wherever you are in the city, you are suddenly connected via the telepathic bond to Cat, and you feel mental strain running through her. There are things you can do or say that might assist her in this.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
As the door is thrown open, you feel this connection. I'll say Romulus, in that quick moment feeling the connection with the rest of your allies, I will allow you to relay what you know is going on to the rest of your allies to allow them to assist.
Theomar's testing Cat. The creature is being poked. She's trying to resist, trying to beat it down. She needs our help. Lend her your strength, please. And I'm going to send to Cat specifically. Don't fight Theomar. I don't like what he's doing, but he isn't trying to hurt you. Focus. You can do this. Your family is here. And if possible, can I expend a use of my runic shield, even if it's more symbolic than anything else to try and assist.
I will say, in this, we'll go through the other four and see what the rest of the party would like to try and do in this moment. But I will say that your use of Runic Shield can be used to give Kat a reroll in the event that she fails a save or a check.
Got it. In physical space, Romulus has probably at this point, I hope, reached the edge of the barrier.
Yeah.
And is going to be like one arm in front, pushing through slowly.
Roll me a strength save. You have to beat a 24.
It's not impossible. Strength save.
Yep. As you're trying to push through a wall of jettisoning sand.
I think that I am going to become very, very large and make use of Giant's Might. I know that's going to be very visible, but I feel like the physical mass might also provide some benefit, at least in not getting flung back if this is what this sort of thing does.
Oh yeah, I'll allow that. It won't push you back necessarily, but it won't necessarily push you through.
Okay.
Yeah. So it gives you advantage on this because of your Giant's Might?
It does indeed. That is a 23.
As you try to push through, the sand is stopping your progress. You cannot get closer to Cat, but you feel it trying to push you back. And in this moment, Onveki goes over to you and kind of places a hand on, given he's a dwarf and you've just doubled in size, on your kneecap. And he just looks up and goes, "Don't get involved, please." And he looks at you with eyes of almost pleading.
Okay, I obviously we have to be a little bit economical with how long things take, but
Yeah.
Do you have children?
I do.
Then you know I can't. And I'm not obviously I can't step forward right now, but I'm not going back an inch.
That's fair. Okay. The rest of the party. In this moment, you feel the strain on Kat's mind, the psionic energy beginning to flow over her, trying to invade her very mind. You feel the presence of another powerful mage adjacent to her, doing something not necessarily harmful, but you can't quite fathom what is going on yet. All of you are suddenly shocked into this moment. I will say, if there's somebody who has an idea on what they might want to do first, by all means go first. Otherwise, I will then proceed round clockwise from Cat.
I have an idea as to something I would like to try. So you said that we suddenly become connected to Cat psionically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Telepathic
So I
bond.
think kind of as Mortar and Kirv are just kind of looking into the fire, then there's this like shock of psionic energy. Mortar's eyes just kind of narrow and he kind of just mumbles under his breath. He's going to try and project himself psionically to where Cat is via his telepathic intrusion. He wants to basically try and aid her using his ability to almost try and make this a little less uncomfortable for her. Like she's been bombarded by it. I'm going to try to siphon the energy to a point where it's a more manageable flow rather than just a tidal wave. So I'm just going to try to almost channel it.
Okay. I will say this then. Go ahead and I'll make this a casting attack roll. So I believe that's your charisma plus your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, so I think it's a plus 8, 7 for me.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a plus 8, if I remember correctly.
Oh, hold on. I don't actually have any attack spells.
What's your charisma?
So yeah, no, plus 7.
Plus 7, okay.
It's plus 7. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
go ahead and give me a roll.
18.
You stretch out the mental form as best you can as you try to reach Cat. I will say, because it's only just off of the DC that I would have needed for this, I will say that for now, This will be... You aren't able to help immediately, but you will be able to help next turn when your projection arrives. As if travelling through the telepathic bond.
Cool. Okay.
Okay. Anything else anyone would like to do?
I don't think.
Runic shield, but that's about.
We'll get to that when we get to that. Kirv.
I don't think there's much I can do except for provide supportive words.
What do you say?
I think Herv says to Cat specifically. Well, actually, first, sorry. If Romulus is on there as well, I'd like to ask Romulus, where are you? Where are you?
And
I'm so sorry.
Wait, what is the name of the like the inn we thought we were going into that turned out to be Magical Mansion? Unless I'm much confused.
The Twisted Tap. It is a good 20 minutes away.
Twisted
No
Tap.
chance of getting there.
Yeah, all of you are far away from it. The Twisted Tap is on the outskirts of town, on the northwestern border, as that is close to where you performed the ritual to bring about Terador.
I'll relay as much information as I can about its location, even if it won't help. At least if people get here as quickly as they can, there's maybe something they can do to help out if we end up unconscious or something.
Well,
But
with
they-
this telepathic bond, if you want to try and do something through the bond, I will allow it. This is
Yeah.
entirely happening in Cat's head.
Yeah. This is.
Beau, is there anything you'd like to try and do?
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Um,
In this moment, I'll say that, Kirv, you are kind of... You get the directions, relay it to the rest of the group as to where they need to go if they want to get there physically. But as it stands, you are kind of stuck in this motion of what can you do? Beau.
yeah, I guess I would be the same. Obviously, I don't really have a lot of a connection with Cat. Obviously, not being here for very long, so I'm kind of just a bit like, what the heck is going on?
Okay.
And I guess I'll just start running
Okay.
to
Let's start running.
the place we're staying at.
Okay. Vinny, you watch as Beau begins to start running with this mental connection and is trying to get to the Twisted Tap as quick as possible. What would you like to do, Vinny?
Okay, with the mental connection up and not a huge amount of time to prepare, I'm going to try to convey through it the memory of the time spent in the bathhouse together. Using, I think, Vinny's most vivid memory of it, of the calming music. And
Oh,
trying
nice.
to convey through this connection the smell, the warmth, the general calming atmosphere as we were all recently together and relaxed. And as I'm trying to project this sense of calm, I'm going to try to say to Cat, whatever it is you're trying to do, we all know how strong you are, and we're with you. As I'd like to attempt to convey a bardic inspiration over this connection.
Go ahead and roll me a performance
Nice.
check. Bardic Inspiration will go through. Here's what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
With this, I will give you a choice of DCs. You can either... So what's the Bardic Inspiration at the moment? It's a D8?
It's a D8, yes.
Okay. You can either aim for a performance check of a 20 and upgrade it to a D10, or you can aim for a performance check of a 30 and upgrade it to a D12. I don't know what would be realistically feasible for you, but you can risk it if you would like to try and aim for certain heights. All I know is that rogues are pretty good at some things, and I believe poor performance is one of yours.
Is one of mine. I'm going to aim for a 20. I think.
Okay, go for it. Natural 20. You love to see it and you hate to see it in this moment,
Oh.
as the total
Yeah.
is...
The total is 37.
37.
Whoa.
As
Set my sights too low. Oh, well.
as you set about this performance, all of you, including you, Beau, are almost immersed in this memory. Beau, you feel as though you are there in this wonderful bathhouse, a warm interior, your feet dipped into the cool and otherwise scented waters, as you feel almost this homely connection between all of you, this moment of respite. And Kat, in this moment, as you're there with this connection, this overwhelming nature of the others talking over your telepathic bond, you also feel this warmth. You feel Mortar's presence beginning to jettison towards you as he extends his psionic reach. You feel the washed feeling and the sensation of being in that relaxing hot spring once again. And in that moment, your arms relax. You feel the tension almost disappear. You have a D10 Bardic Inspiration to use when you would like, and you have advantage on this next casting roll, which again is the intelligence roll you've been doing with the +8 total.
Okay.
I will tell you this now, the DC has increased as you are aiming for even higher heights. What's your total?
Woo!
That's like
25 with the +8. I believe.
25.
Do you wish to use the D10? Keep in mind, you can keep it for future checks if you think that this will be... if you don't need to use it. Or actually, with Bardic Inspiration, is it only if they fail they choose to use it? Or is it they get to choose it before, after
I
they...
believe you have to.
Before you know, I think.
Okay.
I
Let me
think
just
so, yeah.
confirm. I'm
I
just
think-
checking.
I think the new rules are
When you fail, I
are
believe,
what you're saying,
yeah.
Chris.
And that's
Yeah.
probably where I'm getting confused, because obviously I'm playing a bard and...
Okay, they
Judges
have
campaign.
to decide before they know whether it succeeds or fails.
Okay. Would you like to use the D10, Kat?
25 is really high, and I'm
But we have just been told that the difficulty has ramped up a bit.
The first DC was 20. So the DC has increased. By how much, you do not know.
It can't hurt, to be fair.
yeah, fine. I'll use it.
10.
That's 10.
35.
Nice.
35.
35. If I failed, then
There you go.
Cat's got no
No,
hope.
no, this is definitely a success. As you push through the mental image of your person beginning to move through the creature, you feel almost this overwhelming anger as it's beginning to strike and attack at you. I would like you to make me a... Let's make this an intelligence save for this one. I'm going to ramp up the damage, but decrease the chance that this will affect you.
Is it a flat roll?
Yes. But you will get to re-roll if you roll low with Runic Shield.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Which is a +9. Oh,
That's
yeah.
Probably
Runic
going to need
Shield.
a reroll.
Okay, so Runic
Runic
Shield is
Shield.
used.
Okay.
As you
27.
as you feel the overwhelming effect of this anger, these emotions trying to pummel your psionic form that you have created, you will take half, so you will take 25 points of psychic damage as you feel this effect beginning to pummel, striking further and further into you as it is trying to tear you from its own form as you are pushing through it.
Okay, I very bloodied.
Keep in mind you didn't take that first 50 because Romulus took it.
Yep.
Yeah, I've only got 94 hit points.
So you should have currently taken exactly 55 points of damage.
Correct.
So that would be...
Pretty sure you would still be bloodied.
You'd still be
Yeah.
bloodied, but not very bloodied.
Yeah.
That was just, when you said very
Oh.
bloodied, that was like a concerning, like, wait, hold
Making
on.
sure you
But
hadn't.
it was
yeah.
more if that one did 50 odd damage, it's only going to take one more hit to kill.
Take you out, yeah.
Okay.
I suppose it becomes now a question, do you think one more will do it, or do you think you should bow out now?
That's up to
Well,
you.
if I can interject, because I still
Yeah.
am able to help here.
I would say, yeah,
Um,
with this, go for it.
So, possible ideas. One, I don't know if you would allow Aura of Protection in this scenario.
Ooh. That's kind of sick.
I will say, roll me your
Otherwise,
choice of
Yep,
intimidation or performance for this.
Oh.
As in this moment, you are either
Oh,
going to
boy.
try and intimidate the creature to try and for it to weaken its attacks against Cat, much like how the Aura of Protection might work, or a performance to bring it about and create this aura around Cat. I will let you be the choice of which. The DC for this is 20.
Ooh, okay. That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Which one was it? Intimidation or performance?
Performance.
Performance. As you extend out this aura through this psionic connection, Cat, you feel almost this immersion begin to almost peel over your body like a second skin, and you feel a warmth come across you, almost a guardian's warmth, the protection of someone who has your best interests in mind. The aura of
I would
protection.
say it would
Go for it.
visualize as these white vines, these white thorns going around your body.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, Romulus, in your physical form at the moment, Hearn returns. Otherwise, seeing you try to push through, puts his hand to one side. Or puts his hand on your shoulder, kind of pulling you back a little bit. And just kind of looks at you and says, "Not physically." And then points to his temple.
Mm.
You get a sense that the barrier, in this sense, as much as it's to keep you out, it's to stop you from interfering physically.
I'm going to insight, and I know it should be obvious already that I don't really need it, but Romulus isn't the type to back down if he thinks there's any benefit to be gained from being closer to her.
That's fair.
So I suppose this insight is to see, would there be any benefit for Cat if I was there physically? 23.
23? Possibly. But you also know from prior experience that there are times when Cat has been very sensitive to certain events that have happened physically. I believe Cat has told you about the incident, or even shown you, I believe, with Detect Thoughts, the incidents of when she interfered with her mother's spell, and as a result got them killed.
I'm still there, like, arm partway through the sandstorm, is that right?
Yeah. Okay.
I think you see Romulus just lower the arm, take a step back, and drop into a cross-legged position, and focuses all his energy on being there for Cat mentally through that connection. And when she next gets involved in something, Romulus will be ready to act.
Okay. So Chania is held at bay by the crab. Before we get to Mortar here, who will be arriving in just a mo, Beau, are you still running, or is there anything that you would like to try and do to assist mentally?
Guess as I'm running, I'm asking like, what's going on? Like, what? I don't understand what's happening. Obviously, I don't understand what she's going through.
Yeah, he doesn't know about the creature, does he?
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I kind of
you
just had
did
a
tell
whole
him
thing
a
about
little
how I'm
bit.
focused on helping. Can someone else give him the rundown?
You know what? We'll say that what's happening is Mortar is traveling through the telepathic bond. He's being slowed down a little bit, and why he gets there this turn instead of last turn is because he's explaining it to Beau, giving him the crash course on Cat, which is
Okay.
Cat was infected with a creature at a young age. This creature has been messing with her mentally for nearly a year now, or for over a year in game, but since meeting the party, less than a year. The creature has the ability to kind of consume her and take a form where it likes to eat souls and attack the party. She has lost control several times, hence why the party's going to court, and right now she is fighting it face to face in a mental combat, it would seem. That's the
Okay.
crash course.
Think of
Right,
it
I
as a
guess
demon,
everything-
is what
Yeah.
what Morzar will say is think
Yeah.
of it as a demon.
Yeah, well, I guess the thing I'll say is, I'll say we all obviously have our own demons, but you seem to have kept this one at bay quite well. Like, you've got this. You've clearly got this.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Ooh. Or deception.
Ooh.
Nah, I'll go persuasion.
That is funny, actually.
That is a... Oh, I can't even see it. That was
11.
only a 13.
At 13. As you say these words, Cat, they don't cut as deep as they would need to, like the familiarity of some of the friends around them, but you do sense that,
Makes sense.
for better or for worse, it has made an impact. You suspect for the better, but not as impactfully as you might like. This
Yeah.
isn't going to give advantage,
sense.
but I will say it will lower the DC by 1. For this. Not a lot,
Yeah.
but it might matter. Okay. Mortar, as the projected image of you streaming through this telepathic bond crashes through the other side into Cat's mind, you tumble over one shoulder, land, and you see before you the figure of a humanoid form, kind of fingers laced together as it's looking at Cat. In this moment, you can see portions of its body beginning to open with these teeth, eyes flowing across it, and you watch as its attention focuses onto you momentarily. What would you like to do?
Morzar is slowly Morzar's kind of just walking towards them. He opens his revolver up and flicks a couple of bullets in, closes it, spins the chamber, and goes, "You kiss your mother with those mouths." And he's going to stand in front of Cat.
Okay. I will say, for the purposes of this, make me a wisdom saving throw. It's going to target you with a mental attack, and this will give Cat advantage on her save against the
I think
next
you pissed
mental
it off.
attack. Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
Don't talk
okay,
about
so-
my mother.
Ooh, touchy. Oh, I've been disconnected apparently. Okay. So
me to
my
roll for
wisdom
you?
modifier is it's a +4 to my wisdom saves, but I have invigoration if I need to re-roll.
Okay, that is a 8 plus 4, which is a 12. So invigoration for
That would
reroll.
do. Yes, please.
That is... Oh, that was so close to a 19. That is 11 plus 4, 15.
That won't do it either.
In this moment, as you kind of draw its attention in that moment, I'll say you take 2 shots into the creature to kind of ward it off in this moment. As the attacks hit, you watch it as they hit and almost dissipate into it, seemingly unaffected by your input in terms of the gun. But then you watch as the attention has been pulled away, Cat, your inner form almost hears these kind of light almost screeching sounds, like metal on metal, as you feel the presence of these bullets whiz past your head for your mental form, and you watch as they almost impact these forms on the interior, leaving no exterior visualization of what happened, but you watch as Cat is not affected by this for the next section. So, in response, you take 50 points of psychic damage, Mortar,
Okay.
as you feel your mental psyche torn to one side by this effect, but Cat, the 2 shots help as it tries to assail your form once again. Go ahead and roll me... go ahead and roll me your intelligence check to begin with the +8. 17. As you're trying to push through, you aren't making progress. It's thick, it's sludgy, it's tarry, it's difficult to stretch through it. And as you feel almost the presence of the creature around you beginning to try and crush you, make me a... make me a wisdom saving throw with advantage because of what Mortar has done, by drawing the attention towards himself. Natural 20. In this moment, as you feel the presence of this creature shot back from Mortar's attacks, I'll say in this moment you feel almost an opening begin to reach forward, and I will say that you get inspiration from the natural 20 as a form of recovery, should we say, with the attacks giving a little bit of an opening. So, before Cat progresses further, we've had Beau, Mortar, and Kirv try something. Vinny or Romulus, is there anything you would like to try and do for Cat's next attempt? I'm going to have Theomar do something as well. Just going to roll for it real quick. Okay. We'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, I can try to convey another bardic inspiration.
Mm-hmm. What memory do you use?
I'm going to try to convey... This may be a more difficult memory for Cat to face, but I do believe she can handle it. A combination of all of the times we've witnessed her successfully pull back and revert the transformation.
Okay. Each one of these visuals, you see yourself, Cat, as the creature in those moments. You see the horrific form of the spawn of desolation. You see the broken winged figure as it flies next to the tower. You see the long vine-like arms of the atrocious Grove Keeper as you spring from one building to another, trying to destroy one and attack Mortar in that moment. And yet each of those dangerous forms subsides as you return back to you. Broken, maybe a bit, but alive. And you feel comfort yet terror in that moment. Go ahead and roll me a wisdom saving throw. You get the +4 from Kirv being nearby.
Okay. Okay, that's +8 then.
+8?
+4 from Kirv.
So 25. Vinny, I don't believe your spell save DC is that high. And a 25 would succeed.
No,
So in this moment, as you kind of put forward these terrifying images before showing the good that has come from it, that comforts Cat in this moment. And I'll say that your bardic inspiration will again be a D10 for Cat.
Okay. As leaving her with this image, I try to say, I know it's hard. I know it's not fair that you have to do this, but you can win.
Can I communicate with either Jeff or Romulus?
Yeah.
Can I do something? Okay.
Hmm.
Because when my elementals are up, I have a bond with them.
Mm-hmm.
So can I get either Jeff or Romulus or someone to get the crystal to Romulus to try and bring out another one of my elementals to help guide me through? As it's in my mental state. If they're out, then they'll be connected to me mentally.
I can't get into the thing, but if you can get
No,
Jeff
but
to
if I
get
can
up
get
and
it
bring
out, yeah, if
yeah.
Jeff can get it out to Romulus, or Romulus can scream, throw me the
Well,
crystal.
do you have at the moment? Do you have the mental capacity to summon those things? Is what I'm wondering.
This is what I'm trying
Like,
to get.
Yeah.
Because Romulus has tried to summon them before.
Yeah, he's
Um,
been learning rune magic, so he'd be the only one who
Yeah.
could, in theory.
Gotcha.
Because the crystals are charged. The only one that's not charged is Terador, who is currently out at the moment.
Yeah, but Terador is currently being held in place by the
Mhm.
Wind Serpent. So,
Okay.
here's what I'll say.
I'd like. Oh, after you.
Mentally connecting to Jeff in this moment, you try as hard as you can to will Jeff to do something. Make me a persuasion check against Jeff's stupidity of 12.
Fucking bird brain. Do me a favour, I need you right now. What am I doing? A persuasion?
Persuasion.
Oh, good lord. I'm in trouble. Come on, be fucking hell.
You want to tie it to chaos?
Sure. That succeeds.
Okay. Let's see what you get.
31.
31.
Fucking hell.
How does this interact? I will read out what this says. You are transported to the astral plane until the end of your next turn,
Holy.
after which
Holy
time
shit.
you return to the space you previously occupied or the nearest unoccupied space in that if that space is occupied. So,
Oh boy. We're going on a trip.
I don't know how this is gonna work.
here's what I'll say. In this moment, as you convince Jeff to do this, Jeff picks up the gem and flies towards Romulus before Jeff disappears into the astral plane for a turn. The gem begins to fall towards you, Romulus. I will allow you to make me a strength save. I'll say you have advantage still because you have your Giant's Might. And this will be to reach through and grab the gem before it gets swept up by the sand and tossed somewhere into the arena.
Okay. How do we feel? This is a strength check.
Strength save.
Strength save.
Yeah.
That is a 23.
23. With the gem getting close enough, you manage to push through enough. As Hearn goes to try and intervene, he notes what's happening as you go to push through. Umveki parts part of the sand just enough to allow you to reach through, grab the gem and pull back as Umveki closes it back up again, using all of his might to try and maintain that.
Am I able to now activate or try and activate the rune?
You can. Go ahead and make me... I will say your choice of a mental check. So intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. And I'll say
it's
that...
either intelligence or wisdom. I'm going to say it's from my wisdom, as I do feel that my version of runes come from... Well, obviously, my version of runes come from constitution rather than anything else, and I feel like wisdom is closer to how I connect to that.
Yeah,
If
I'll allow that.
makes any sense.
Go for it.
Come on. That is a 17.
17. In this moment, you look at the rune and you recognize it. You've seen it before. Now, Kat, because you succeeded, which gem did Jeff give to Romulus?
Well, God, let's just be honest here. Bird brain's not the smartest.
No, he succeeded. You told him which one to get. If you
Oh, I did.
If you failed,
Okay.
I was then going to ask you which one he gave, and then give him the wrong one.
Okay, in that case, then it would be Cinder who
Okay.
is known for supporting.
Okay. You hold within your hand Cinder's gemstone. The symbol of fire, the rune meaning so, one that you recognize as it is similar to your fire giant rune. You look at it, and you activate it. In this moment, Cinder appears and begins to coil around Cat, not in an aggressive manner, almost this effigy as such begins to form as an ephemeral form of Cinder appears within the mental state. The creature, in this moment, being beset upon by another enemy in this moment, Mortar, you watch as they explode outwards back to the massive wall of tar, eyes and teeth writhing across them. You watch as tendrils begin to push, and you see cracks beginning to form across almost this glass surface as it's trying to push through. Cinder is sending up these glaives towards it, beginning to pin the creature in place, holding it back. What would you like to do in this moment? You are currently standing before the creature.
Mortar
Me?
staggers to his feet. Oh, sorry, is that Cat or
No.
Mortar?
Mortar.
No. Is that? Oh, was that Mortar? Okay. Mortar kind of staggers to his feet after taking that crazy amount of damage, which bloodied him immediately, and he kind of wipes his nose, which is streaming with blood, and then he stands up straight, side on, raises his pistol up, aims down the sights, charges it with a branding smite. He says, "Adios!" And he's going to shoot, and he's going to try to blast the thing behind him, which is like kind of cracking and supporting him, trying to blast it back so that way it falls through the glass.
Okay. You take this moment, lifting your pistol and taking the shot as Black Scorpion's energy shoots through it, begins to brand, and there is a white hot flash of light that floods through it in almost this crackling fashion, almost like fake lightning or nerve, like nerve to nerve ends becoming splayed with bright light. In this moment, Cat, you feel the creature's attention has been diverted. You have a chance. You have a moment. Please
So
give me.
from this, I've
I
got
have a-
one last push, essentially.
I might be able to help out with this. Chris, we're all connected, so it's not just we're all connected to Cat, it's we are all connected at the moment,
Correct.
right? Can I try and use my fire rune using the attack that Mortar has just used?
Ooh, okay. I will allow that.
Yeah, it's a pretty hot idea, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I'll say on that vein, Kirv, did you want to do something similar with your smites?
Oh, what supercharged this attack?
Supercharge the attack to hold the creature back temporarily.
God damn.
Okay.
I like the idea that they're coming almost like as like, you know, they're kind of entering the ethereal space or this like mental space as like bullets, which are like slotting themselves into the chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
But they're
first,
all like different colors or something, or
Yeah,
like different essences.
the first shot, a branding smite, a bright white as it shoots through the air. The second, a fiery red hot motion to it as the fire rune blazes before striking against it. The third, a dark crow-like bullet with almost these spectral wings that spread outwards as it flies towards it. You know what? Beau, is there anything you could input into this to otherwise enhance one of these attacks?
Ooh,
Also,
I
I'm
don't
just going
feel
through
anything.
both
Yeah.
heads right now of like, what kind of anime-ass bullshit have I stumbled into?
Mortar's just there like,
I
Mortar's just there like, I am the protagonist.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Like the only thing I can think of is if there's any way I could give my weapon.
Steve,
But
Steve, may I suggest something?
go on then.
So as Mortar's kind of like shooting and stuff, he's like, "Hey, new guy, got one of those special bullets?"
It's just more how would I get it to you? That's the thing. But
Just think about it really hard. Also,
Just have to
Vinny,
believe.
Vinny, you've got sneak attack, right? Is Simon not
I
here?
do. I
Okay.
don't.
Technically,
I'm not
they're
certain
allies.
how I would go about conveying that over this bond, but I'm certainly happy to try.
Okay.
You just give Mortar a crash course in how to stab someone from behind,
I'll say.
like a real quick course.
Look, we gotta try, and we can try.
Yeah, no. I second that.
Okay. I will say, given the nature of this not necessarily being an expended thing on your end here, go ahead and make me a best for this. Let's go with performance. Let's go with performance for this from you, Vinny. And anything that you can think of, Beau, that might be useful?
like I said, nothing off the top of my head. But
Action surge?
I mean, I could throw that in.
Yeah, you could expend an action surge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep
Nice.
running.
As
Yeah.
you,
Yeah, I'll go for it.
in this moment, continuing to run towards them, you send the energy of almost this surge of adrenaline into Mortar as he begins to unload more of these bullets. Another one, kind of the branded one shooting forward along from the rest of your allies. Go ahead and roll me the performance, please, Vinny.
Performance, that is a 23.
23. As it's fired through the air, the energy from Beau, which he sent forward, the bullet appearing as several in the air from the action surge, these spectral bullets all peppering the side, and then finally one honed bullet, kind of this sharp angular section to it, almost like a red horn, as it shot down from the last shot in the chamber from Black Scorpion, as all of them pepper and puncture this one section of the creature as it reels back in that moment. Cat, go ahead.
May I have added my divine smite?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Go ahead and expend that.
So could I?
Go for it.
So I'll put in a third level
Mhm.
slot,
Damn.
and since that's from my warlock levels, I'll say that a sort of ethereal black crow sort of flies up and then dives back down, turning into a like obsidian black bullet going into
Okay.
the
I
slot.
love that. That's so sick. Mortar's bending these bullets like friggin' Wanted or whatever. Like he's like, this is so sick.
Okay.
This is the best day of my life.
With that,
Oh, I'm sorry.
before I forget,
No, no.
the thing from Theomar. You feel this moment, Cat. The words, remember who you are. And remember the third and final lesson you know. And you feel this sudden memory kind of course through your mind. Protect those you can. And as your spectral form reaches forward, go ahead and make me another casting check, please.
Okay, am I getting the idea this is going to be the last shove against the creature? Is
Seems
this
like
sort of
it.
last dance situation? Okay, then
have.
can I put literally everything into this? I want to put all 58 of my spell points,
Holy
all of
fuck.
my hit
Ooh.
die. I'm going to expend.
Holy.
I'm going to spend 19 of my current hit points I'm literally throwing everything into this, and I'm not going to reach out and touch it. But Cinder's with me. I'm going to form the rail rifle. Point it directly at its head. And literally mimic the words of Mortar. Get the
Fuck
fuck
yeah.
out of my head. I'm going to just shoot him.
Whoa!
Hell yeah.
I don't know if this will help
Okay.
at all, but if there's any way I can assist with my action surge and rage, I would love to.
I'll say in this moment, where everybody has contributed towards the lowering of the DC, with Cat putting this forward, go ahead and give me one final roll here, Cat. You have inspiration.
Okay.
Come on.
I have inspiration. I've got bardic inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it a flat roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay, that's... What am I rolling?
So your intelligence plus your proficiency, so it's a +8. on
Okay,
top.
so that's 8. So it's 19 plus 8 plus 6.
So it's a 33.
Holy fuck.
It's pretty good.
So,
That's pretty damn good, brother.
from the first check, a DC 20. You passed it with a 25, pushing through. To a DC 30, reduced to 29 thanks to Beau's mental prep and the advantages of the Bardic Inspiration allowing you to push through. And finally, from a DC 40,
Damn.
reduced down to a DC 32 with the efforts of your party.
Oh,
You push through, and in this
Big win,
moment,
boys, big
your
win.
hand clasps a familiar hand. Your eyes light up, and as the rail rifle goes off, shooting straight through, a path is carved momentarily, and there is a vacuum-like sucking sound, and you feel the presence of two souls evacuated from the creature. Your mother and your father.
Oh fuck. Big win, people.
As you hold
Right.
their their hands in this moment, you look at them. They are who you remember them to be. Their souls were strong enough to resist the corruption. But
There it is.
you have shot a hole through the barrier to reach them. In this moment, as you feel this wave of positive emotion, you watch as it begins to flood, as it begins to seep through the screeches and the sounds of joy and terror reaching towards you.
Chris, I'd like to make use of my reaction, please.
What would you like to do?
Sentinel, I'm going to get in the way. In the mental space, if it's at all possible, I'm happy to expend whatever resources you want on this. I'm pulling back on Kat while she's holding onto her parents to pull her out, and I'm jumping into the hole.
In this moment, as you go to do this, I would like you to roll for initiative. Please, Romulus. You'll be rolling against two other individuals.
Did I get in on this as well? Because I'm in the mental space.
Is there any chance I could argue advantage because this is a dangerous thing that I'm trying to jump into?
I will
They-
say, simply because of Sentinel, this is allowing you to try and do this.
Fair enough.
So in this instance, Mortar, as you're seeing this, you can't hold back a tide of this creature. You were able to push back a tendril, but to punch through a tide of this creature is beyond anyone in this chamber. Theomar,
Yeah,
everyone.
That's not what I was thinking of trying to do at all. I was going to try do something else.
I'll say in this moment,
It's
roll me a initiative roll to see if you get a chance to do so. You are currently
okay.
trying to beat a 23 as I rolled a natural 19 plus 4.
I'm
Oh,
so
I would
blind. I'm so slow.
So I would literally. Sorry, my mouse isn't working for some reason.
That's all right.
Hold on. No, it's alright. Oh, no, it's not working at all. That's really weird. Okay,
It's the
well, I have
creature.
a +4 to initiative, so
So
I would
19 or higher.
literally 19. Nah.
No.
Oh, 18!
18.
Oh, close.
As you
Hey,
go,
damn it!
as you go to try and intervene, your body almost trying to take hold of what you're doing, you feel a presence. And Cat, you watch as your mother turns, releases the grip on your hand, and places her hand out, and you watch as the energy floods from her, as the sound of glass peeling back together. The screech of it as it begins to mend itself strand by strand, grain by grain. And as it does so, you watch as parts of her body begin to lift and pull away. The expending of a soul to keep it contained. You watch as she does this. The creature is pushed back in this moment. You hear the muttering and the call, the sound of whimpering from Theomar. In that moment of hesitance, you hear another voice, Cat. It doesn't have to end this way. Let me help.
She is an absolute wreck, but she sort of stands up, still holding on to her dad's thing, just... Okay. She holds her mum's hand. This time, not trying to take control like last time, trying to help. She's gonna let her mum guide her.
Okay. In that moment, you realize that the voice that was speaking to was not your mother.
Oh.
You reach forward for your mum's hand, the image playing itself over again, the act of reaching for your mother as she's casting a spell. This time, done correctly. And you see this ephemeral form of Sychania almost ride in from the wave and strikes into the crystal on the side as you watch as parts of her begin to crack up and through it, reinforcing and faceting the glass wall in place, holding the creature back. As you see your mum's soul is retained. Slightly damaged, but retained. As Sychania almost weakly begins to pull back towards you. And you begin to feel uncomfortable in this moment, almost the waves of emotion beginning to wash over you. The realization of what you've done. As you open your eyes, you see Sychania, the tip of Sychania placed against your forehead in a forehead to forehead motion. Your grandfather has his arms wrapped around you, his head kind of placed against the side of yours. You see cinder beginning to materialize nearby. You see the other elementals have stepped back, the wall of sand still present, Romulus beyond. Reaching out, the forms and the mental images of your party there. As Mortar, you are returned to your body. All of you feel that presence, that intensity of that connection is gone. You're still connected telepathically. But Cat, you fall to your knees in that moment and you feel a warmth. And almost the gentle voices of your mother and father drifting within you. Right now, you contain 3 souls.
Wow.
I think that will be a good time to take a quick break.
Damn.
All right.
It's well done, everyone.
You win some, you lose some.
I've got my parents back, but fucking hell.
Oh, you got one of them.
But they've
One
lost
of
some
them,
weight.
right?
You got
Okay, no, Dad's
got-
fine. The mum's.
you got
But-
1.5. Dad's fine.
That's not that.
Mum, the
Mum
mum's
is
soul is damaged.
Significantly weakened, yeah.
Yeah, which means that if she comes back, she'll have a much shorter lifespan. We're talking about it
Unless
probably
you
being
find
cut
a way
in
to,
half.
like, resolve it beforehand.
Correct.
Or potentially after, but, like, you know, preferably before.
Yeah. Damages to
Who's
souls
ready for?
is extended on many different levels. Some of them are, in some cases, it can be things like forgetting memories entirely. Some of them can be cut lifespans. Some of them can be physical maledictions, such as illnesses, weakness, or physical, like, limb failing to exist. There's a lot of things that could happen from a damaged soul. Repairing it
Mum,
is equally as difficult.
me and Mum can be twinsies. Who's ready for Necromancer Cat?
You don't have to.
Oh, well.
Chris, did I ever hear back from my mother?
No. Not yet.
Well, I know where we're heading then.
Bathing.
And Theomar can help us. And he
Well.
fucking better.
Well,
Right.
you got a court date first, and a quick break to pop to the loo, grab drinks, grab snacks, whatever you need to do, and then see where
God
this goes.
I'm gonna get
No,
a cup of tea
Not to
or
worry,
Mum.
everyone. We are still flying half a month.
There you go.
Half the mum's better than no mum.
That's true.
Mhm.
I will be right back.
And now you have 3 dads.
Oh, God.
Honestly, you doubled up on parents nearly. I'd say that's a pretty good win.
I honestly almost cried during that. Like if
Damn, that went
his
anime
mum,
as fuck.
if the mum literally sacrificed herself, I was gonna bawl my eyes out.
This was precisely why I was trying to get in the way of it, because I was like, I couldn't let that happen. The fucking dice!
Alright, BRB.
I do hope
Yes,
I
I was
you know,
gonna.
gotten to. If that hadn't already happened, I do hope I would have at least gotten the chance.
I was gonna see if maybe I could, with some while I was there, what I was rolling for, I was gonna see if I could shunt the souls of Kat's parents out of her body so they can find other bodies to maybe inhabit. I was gonna like, oh, maybe if I get them out of there, like maybe they'll be able to like inhabit or some other bodies or something. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm just imagining like, hey, 2 like fucking mannequins wake up in a store and like, well, shit, guess we gotta go find our Centaur.
The bright side, there's no chance of us getting pregnant.
This is true. This is true. Also, in my head, the words are Centaur and Centaur for Centaur
Yeah?
children.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Oh my word.
Yeah. God, that's such a good moment for a noble sacrifice as well. God damn it!
What is your moment?
You took my moment. Oh no. Very much looking forward to. I'm very glad that we are not down an entire mum, and I'm also
I'm
very
back.
glad that we've all survived.
Whew. Yeah, well done.
Oh, I really do want to punch Theomar. Just one good hit.
everyone.
If anything, he basically just shortened his daughter's lifespan in a really roundabout way. Because none of that would have happened if he didn't try doing what he just did. So
True. To a certain degree, her soul was being consumed by the monster for over time. So it's. I don't think he ever intended for any of this to happen. Not
True,
quite in this way.
True. Still think that there, as an all-powerful wizard, though, like, you know, he's supposed to be this insanely powerful guy. Surely there's other means that don't require you to traumatize your granddaughter with the image of your grandfather literally trying to blow you up and kill you. So
God, you'd think.
you'd
Unfortunately,
think, man. But
all these super powerful individuals are, people too, which means they make stupid ass decisions sometimes.
oh, respect as a
This
fellow
man
as a fellow
definitely needs
person.
therapy though. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think I do after that first half of the session. Jeez.
Yeah.
Look, we're halfway through the session. I think I've got
I
at least
know.
half of my hair is now more grey than it was.
Can we all just appreciate the way that everyone came together there? That was pretty cool.
It
Yeah.
was.
I was really pulling
Also,
my hair out and what to do. I was just there like, I just shoot things. What do I do?
Just think about really cool bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that works.
I managed to come out of that with 20 hit points, no spell points, no
Damn.
hit die. I come out with no exhaustion though.
That's
Alright.
true.
That's something, you know.
That's true.
For you, this is an absolute win.
Yeah.
Uh,
And my parents' souls. And
Yeah,
a very
like
broken
before-
Titania. We need to get to Seeker's thing, by the way.
We do, yeah. I am wondering if perhaps you might give me a chance to like work with Titania, because Titania is a physical object to a degree. If I can get the right materials, my smithing is pretty fucking good. I could give it a try and bolster her at least, if not fix it.
The problem
like,
is that
give her more
Titania
time.
is the equivalent of a tier 6 item, so she is an artifact.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the base DC at level 18, when you would be of the appropriate level for forging and assisting in making an artifact, because the way I have the DCs is it's staggered based on your level. At level 18, the DC would be 36.
That's very fair.
At your
My
current
hope is
level,
not
I believe it would be 8 higher, so it's 44.
Hear me out here.
Mm-hmm.
I understand this. That is for creating an artifact, or perhaps repairing one. In this case, I'm just looking to essentially apply temporary hit points. This is just the DIY method of like make it so that it'll last a little bit longer until we can get to the important stuff. Is there any chance that would have a lower DC?
I'd say the DC potentially would. The main thing is that it would use your intelligence because she is an artifact, in the sense. Because she is a
need to become smart.
Yeah, because she's a intelligence-based artifact in her sense, because she is a sentient artifact. As a result, tampering with that using strength, yes, you could repair her physically, but mentally with Titania's magic and potential, it's all tied to the sentience. And to adjust that requires intelligence, or a casting type such as, charisma for Kirv, wisdom for Mortar, stuff like that.
Is there? Okay, so what are you saying is I need to get my hands on a circlet of intellect?
Yes.
Okay.
Or get through Zakers, because Kat already knows that Titania can be fixed by making her stronger.
Correct.
This is also true, but if we get to a situation where we can't do that, but we need to make Titania last a bit longer, it's my best bet.
Okay. Have we got
I just
everybody back? Oh, sorry, go for it.
I just had a really sad time because I went to the freezer and I was like, yeah, I'm going to put some chicken nuggets in. And then I discovered I don't have any left.
Aww.
Yeah.
What did you
So
get
I'm
instead?
just going to have a cup of tea and some biscuits.
There's still mochi in the
I've got
bag.
green biscuits.
There's still mochi in the bag, that is right. But I'm having biscuits right now.
Fair enough. So, just to check, have we got Simon back?
Can I just say, Twix has created these new things called crispy rolls, and they're just for all intents and purposes, they're a fucking Kinder Bueno.
They have been around
Oh.
for a while and they are very nice.
I'm sure they are. They do look lovely, but I am pissed that they are functionally the same thing.
They are
with a bit of
functionally
caramel.
They are functionally the same, but they do taste very nice. Okay, that sounds like Simon's returning. Do we have a Steve?
Yes. I'm
Dan.
Yep, I'm here.
Alright, so now that Simon is back, we have everybody.
I'm back, yes.
Wonderful. So, as Kat, you return to the visuals of the chamber. The calming motion of the understanding of the souls that are within you, otherwise holding their own, restored and returned. Theomar, kind of hugging you in this moment, releases you and looks at you. You can see that there are kind of tears that have welled up as he wipes his tears away, sniffs and inhales before standing back up as he waves a hand, and the two elementals are dismissed in this moment as he takes a step back. What were the 3 lessons?
Oh, fucking hell.
Dick move.
Fuck you. Don't hesitate. Don't lose focus.
I'm glad that Romulus is in my head still. That's really good, actually.
Did he actually
I've
say
got
what
the
the third
last. I know
one
the
was?
Yeah, he
last
did.
one. So it'll be don't hesitate, don't lose focus. I think it's protect.
And
my
it was
friends.
the
My friends are there for me.
Tell him to eat a bag of dicks.
Oh, and don't show weakness.
well, didn't he say it at the end of that fight? Look out for the ones you care for.
Yeah, that was the word. That was it. Look out for the.
I think
not
that don't
protect.
hesitate and don't lose focus are kind of the same one. I kind of mix those up a little bit. I think the first one was don't show weakness or don't allow weakness or something like that.
Don't be distracted.
Is this about right?
I think
Is
it's-
this about right?
Well, let's see.
Yeah, I can't
Kat,
remember.
what
if
do
I
you
got
say?
Hold off. Okay. Okay. Don't lose focus. I've already forgot the second one. Christmas is such a stressful episode.
Don't allow
Don't be distracted.
weakness or something. to that
Okay,
effect.
all right. I will. I'll just commit to this point. Don't lose focus. Don't allow weakness. Protect those around me.
He lowers his wand before sliding it into a bit at his side. The sand from the wall otherwise falls down, and you feel the kind of almost a shuffling from beneath as wooden slats begin to reform, and the sand almost falls between gaps in the slats before they reform. Hearn relaxes, but slowly kind of steps over, but gestures for you to go first, Romulus. As he slowly steps over, Umveki kind of doing the same. As you see the other guard at the back of the room, who's kind of been watching from the back, who's kind of leaning up against the boards there, comes forward from his leaning position and steps closer to Theomar. Theomar looks at you, Kat. Well done.
Don't ever do that again.
I won't.
It's just she's on the floor, conk like that took everything.
Romulus is already there behind you at this point. The doesn't care about the barrier if it's still there. I
Oh, no,
assume
the
it would've
barrier
dropped
went
by
down.
this point,
Yeah.
but even if it would have pushed through and just Romulus is there. And we'll be offering a stable thing for you to lean on, just knelt down next to you.
The fact that
Probably an arm
the fact
around.
that the first words to your daughter weren't sorry and cure wounds really speaks volumes about your character. Mortar will walk over and cast cure wounds at 3rd level on Cat.
You're not there. You're still in the pub.
Oh. Oh,
Men-
sorry, I
It was
forgot.
your
Mentally-
weird mental
Yeah, no,
bullshit.
that's fine. Mentally, you projected yourself, and you're like, oh, now we've got to go to
Oh,
to a
okay.
different pub? All right, Kirv, let's go. And you just kind of
Oh,
wander
Also,
off
I
through
like
the night.
Also, I like the fact that Jeff just now pops back into existence.
Yeah, Jeff
Uh,
pops back into a distance, lands on the slats, and just kind of looks around.
Weirdly enough, he's got like a little crown on, and has like a load of stuff that's like changed about him. But then just sort of like shakes it off and then it's back to normal.
Oh, he's got plenty of those like flower wreaths that they put on you in like the Caribbean and stuff, just around his neck. Like he went to a party somewhere in the Astral Sea, but who knows?
I think they're called leis, Leis.
Nice.
Would it be all right for me to quickly interject before before Kirv and Mortar do leave to try and join up with them? Kirv is going to she after watching what's happened and knowing, okay, there is a moment of time of relative safety compared to what we just went through.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to look towards Filch, her eyes steely, and like she's gotten something back, and says to Filch, "Tell him I need to talk to him." Before holding Filch in her hand. And does Filch sort of nod or agree?
Alright, do what you gotta do. And offers his neck to be snapped, as is the way to return him to the boss.
Dark way of doing it.
Well, what I was actually going to do was have her holding him, and then she puts a thumbed claw into his heart.
Ooh. Yeah, okay. You put the thumbed claw into his heart, you break it in that moment, and the body goes limp in your hands before turning to almost a pile of feathers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fuck.
Okay.
You're not here.
Also true.
No, that was a purely out of character reaction to that cold ass shit.
Meanwhile, Beau and Vinny are just sprinting back to the Twisted Tap.
Oh yeah, I'm turning my boots on and everything. I'm
Boots of speed. Nyum. Beau's just there like,
like 3 times faster than everyone else.
I'm absolutely knackered. I am sweating. I have no idea what's going on.
Beau's taking off at like full speed for him, and then Vinny's just like
Walking.
all right, thanks. I'll see you there.
What is it, like 180 feet around, or is it more than that now?
180 per round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Piggyback, I
Yeah,
beg.
you are.
Piggyback.
You
So I want Beau on
Vinny's back.
Vinny's shoulders.
So hold on,
If only you had the urchin background, you could have gotten that up to 360.
Because you can travel twice. You can double the
Twice
speed
as fast in
in
urban environments.
urban environments. Yeah.
That's
Oh.
wild.
Which is a bullshit thing
Yeah.
for it to do, but it's very funny.
Yeah.
For this one
Unfortunately, I don't think I really have the strength to piggyback people. If we invested in a wheelbarrow, however, things might be different.
Vinny gets a wheelbarrow and just puts him in it. Beep beep. Nyum.
Hear me out here. What if instead we got you one of those rickshaws?
Is that one of the pulling carts?
It's one of the little pulling carts that you pick
Oh,
up, like,
yeah.
like kind of like a backwards wheelbarrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
love
yeah.
And then just Vinny just like pounding the ground in front of it. Like,
Yeah, I'll just offer artillery support just in case.
Okay. As you all begin to rush there, Romulus, you have a moment to say or do something. Theomar seems to be kind of standing there still. Hearn comes over and just kind of looks stoically at Cat. I'll say, Cat, you meet eyes with Hearn, and Hearn kind of nods in approval. The most emotion you've seen him display in his entire life. Before he goes back to sitting on his stool near the door, and just kind of leans his axe against the wall and just kind of keeps a general surveying of the surroundings, ever alert as he would be. Meanwhile, the new one, a tall Ishlan individual, you can see that they have a little bit of kind of a bluish tint to the edges of their skin, where they've got the markings that are otherwise across their form. Shame we haven't had a chance to meet properly and under better circumstances. And he reaches out a hand to you, Cat. Name's Casper.
Ah. Oh. I'll hold out a tentacle and kind of shake his hands.
He shakes the tentacle.
Ah.
Well,
Well, Ellie, I suppose.
now that you don't need me around for the time being, do you mind if I go for my wander? And looks to Theomar. Theomar just nods, and you watch as he kind of strolls past and out of the mansion with kind of his hands at the kind of the back of his neck as he kind of has his elbows stretched out and just walks out.
Wow.
And Vecchi comes
Looks
over
up
and
to-
kind of looks at you.
Go on.
It was fine work. Well done. I couldn't be more proud of a student. Well, not a student anymore, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, I've recently picked up some stronger spells. Well, a stronger spell.
Glad to hear it. Theomar,
Hmm.
now that we're done, you owe me a drink for that. Theomar nods. I think we could all use it. And
Yeah.
with that, he kind of does kind of a light twist, and you feel the presence of the ever-present air elementals that make up his staffing, and various plates and trays of food and drink are brought out from various doorways to be placed around the room as tables begin to form and morph from the wooden floor below. I'm glad you're all right. I knew you'd be all right. Just didn't know it would be this strenuous. You are well.
Sorry, I gotta be a bit of a bitch here.
Mm-hmm.
I think when Ryan says it, you have a funny way of showing your care.
He looks at you. Smiles with almost like a, not necessarily scoffing, but almost admitting that is the case. Maybe. But hard lessons make for stronger bones.
Well, I've got enough of them. Looks at her back, looks at everything.
I suppose that's true. But from
And
the
if you
way
strike metal before it hits the right temperature, before it's been tempered the right way, it will snap.
I understand. He looks at you, almost at this point, annoyed by the second analogy that he clearly understood the first one.
It's fair. It's fair. I think I wouldn't have been able to be Romulus if I didn't have a little bit of a pissy moment about this.
Oh no, that's entirely fair. Like,
Romulus is going to let out a little bit of a breath.
I know you want to. He steps up to you and kind of stretches out a hand towards you, Romulus, while you're on one knee. Hearn, don't interfere. Hearn nods.
I'm going to take his hand. I'm going to stand up.
He helps you to your feet.
Not.
And you see he kind of straightens his back and kind of looks to you.
I'll look to them like, what's going on?
I'm going to lean in. I do not hurt family. Not if I have the choice. And she is my family, which means so are you. Good day. And I'm going to go to the bar and grab a drink.
Ooh.
Okay. He watches as you go. Looks to you, Cat. You found a good replacement.
Not a replacement.
For now.
Come back and somehow I have a milkshake for Cat.
Just like, no.
It's a vanilla and cinnamon milkshake, just as Cat would like, as
Oh,
Theomar knows you would, along with what looks to be a small plate of waffles, a little bit of ice cream, whipped cream on the top, and a few sprinkles of freeze-dried strawberries.
well, it's brought me. I'm done. I've got. Oh,
Go back to my uncle.
oh, thank you, Granddaddy. You wonderful man.
I want to make it clear, I was the one that brought it over.
Yeah, but the elementals are the ones who prepared it.
Oh gosh. Well, the cat looks sipping some of the milkshake. Well, looks like I need to learn how to build a soul.
Some things never change. Always looking to become the next step.
Well, at least I've got them back. They're here.
That's
I
true.
can feel them.
You do indeed. In time, you'll understand the harshness of this teaching. But you'll thank me for it once it gets there.
Oh, I want to wring his fucking neck.
Perhaps.
Romulus is like in his head going, I must be calm. Do it for Cat. Don't try and murder her grandfather. I don't care that he'd win. I'd fucking manage to wring his little neck before I go.
I mean, now's the time. He's spent a lot of his spell points on things like Modify Memory and all that.
Oh, don't tempt him. Don't tempt him.
If you, I will tell you this now. I still have time stop, so I will set back up. Theomar's Terracotta Army is an 8th level spell, and I have both a 9th and an 8th left. I will destroy you.
Romulus, it knows two things. One, he knows he would lose,
Yes.
which is fine. As I said, Romulus doesn't care about losing as long as it's worth the cost. And to a certain degree, if it's for Cat, it's always worth the cost.
Mhm.
But he also knows that if I try and murder Cat's grandfather, that's not going to be helpful for her, which is more than this fucker can ever do. So, there's a certain moral implication there. I think I will, after grabbing a drink, non-alcoholic, I've got a child here.
She's immune to alcohol for the next 25 days. She's fine.
Yeah, look, jeez. Fine.
No, I mean, I'm not drinking alcohol.
Oh, fair.
But maybe some non-alcoholic mulled wine or something that'll sort of bleed off some of the fire in me into a different direction.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to sort of set up just a little bit behind Cat, at hand on shoulder, and I will be listening in, and I would like to talk to Theomar at some point.
Yeah, that's fine. Theomar otherwise looks to you, Cat, kind of appreciating the moment, but also seemingly mentally kind of recalling stuff that's going on.
Okay. I will. What does my arcane recovery give me? What level spell is that?
It gives you a set amount of SP back, I believe.
Yeah, I've got to try and find where it's written down. I think it is in here. It'll give me a level 5.
So that would be 7.
Very nice. Okay. All right. Cat will turn around to her granddad. So, I have a favour to ask, actually. I've done the legwork, I think. But can you check something over? And I'll hand him over the notes in regards to Trellodex and trying to make him a more stable body.
He immediately goes from this stoic leader of someone who Romulus hates in this moment to, for various reasons, from this kind of harsh, analytical grandfather to a scholar in seconds. As he takes your tome and begins to kind of flip through it, he casually wanders as he's kind of flipping through, reading the various notes. You watch as he does a few sigils in the air, and you watch as the chalkboard that you are familiar shows up beginning to kind of pull itself free from the wall as he gets various bits of chalk and begins to kind of draw the analyticals of the sigils, working on them, kind of drawing the 3D design of what you're trying to do, tapping on the board, and pulls bits of it out almost like an illusion. Very Tony Stark-esque as he's beginning to draw and produce these illusions. The rest of you, I will say, arrives shortly after. Vinny, you are first as you arrive kind of to a screeching halt. A trail of fire has been left somewhere in the city and people are kind of shouting and buckets of water are being thrown as you arrive at the Twisted Tap. Kind of rushing inside, you rush to the doorway. You see the tall elven guard with kind of the thin rimmed hat as he otherwise kind of steps out, arms behind his neck as you arrive, kind of moves out of your way, just kind of gives a nod before walking towards the door. You head inside, you see Romulus is there, kind of kneeling next to Cat. Cat is eating food and drinking, and they're both almost mesmerically looking at Theomar as he is currently drawing and working on stuff, it would seem. You see the Minotaur Harlan, who's kind of sat on his stool, looks over and sees you come in, just kind of gives you a nod and remains vigilant.
I'll give a nod to him and deactivate my boots, reserve the rest of the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Cat, whatever it is you were doing, looks like you did it.
Well, it wasn't for option, but I got Mum and Dad back. Well, I mean, I got their souls back.
From the creature?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that was possible. Well done.
Oh, neither did I until, well, I was educated. Just leaves it at that word, so educated.
Mm-hmm. I'll give a brief side eye over at Grandpa Nerd. And,
Yep. Grandpa
And-
Nerd is busy
and you don't-
writing stuff.
And you don't appear to be any more fucked up and evil than usual. So this must have been a resounding success all around, right?
You know, in all the seriousness that's happened, everything that's gone on, just the comment of fucked up and evil just tickles Kat to the point where she's just in fits of laughter. It's like,
Aww.
you know what? It's so real, but at the same time, thank you.
Okay, I'll kneel down and give her a quick hug.
I'm going to join in on this particular hug, partially because I think it's funny to involve Vinny, and also because I kind of like all hyped up on the moment. I did forget to properly have a talk down with Kat after a very stressful situation. So I'm just going to say, still hugging both of them, I am so very proud of you, Kat. You did an incredible thing. And I could not be more proud of you.
Thank you.
Shows
And
what we can do when
thank
we're
you.
together.
In fact, we've still got is the door open still?
Doors open to allow everybody in.
Okay. So you just Cat look at the pair of you. Like, thank you for just thank you. And then she'll open up sort of like the mind to everyone else and like, I'm so sorry for putting you all through that, but thank you all for being there.
You hear panting from the doorway as Beau, kind of hand against the doorframe, has just been pushing himself harder and harder to get there, just panting as he staggers down the hallway, and you're like, magic, making a fancy place, all nice and cool. Meanwhile, you're exhausted because you have to run halfway across the city just to get here.
So fucking sweaty.
That's not the point. That's not the point. Because I'm so out of breath, I light a cigarette as well. Because I've heard that.
I need some fresh air.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe expand my lungs a bit. Damn.
Okay, I'm going to go and get a drink for myself
from
and
the
Beau.
table and swaps it out for the cigarette.
Right, he takes a swig of his bottle then. his whiskey bottle. If I can't smoke or have a drink. Damn, I just ran off the city.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Ron, I can't fault that one.
Okay. Shortly after, Mortar and Kirv arrive. You both kind of head through the doorway into the main chamber, your footfalls kind of announcing your arrival.
Cat?
Cat goes charging over at them and gives them both a hug.
Oh.
Mortar just says, kind of just puts a hand on Cat's shoulder, gives it a good squeeze, and just says, "Nice shot, kid."
Well, I wouldn't have thought about shooting if it wasn't for the fact that I heard you continuously shooting.
Mortar shrugs kind of just shrugs unapologetically and kind of moves past and goes, "So we just letting bygones be bygones then?" And looks at Grandad.
Excuse me, what? He turns around, kind of chalk tapping against his lip as he's like, oh. And puts the chalk down and kind of closes the book. Some of the illusions are still kind of floating in the air. Sorry, run that one by me again.
So we're just letting bygones be bygones?
I
The whole thing that just happened here.
suppose. Yes.
Mortar kind of smiles and he's like, bring it in. All right.
He
Oh no,
He
this is so much worse.
Mortar, and
he
Mortar
looks
will-
at you and then
Mortar
he
will
puts
walk
a
over.
hand up to
Mortar-
Hearn, like don't interfere, and then walks over.
Mortar puts a hand up to her as well. It's like, it's okay, and I will extend my hand out to him.
He takes your hand.
I will deck him in the face as hard as I can.
Yeah, you do so.
Okay.
Oh.
He
Okay.
takes it, nods. You must be Mortar then. He kind of takes it, stands upright. Hearn doesn't flinch. Hearn kind of sees this
Mortar
happen.
kind of like as I deck him. I don't know how much it really hurts him or anything, but Mortar kind of straightens him upright, dusts off his shoulders, and goes, okay, there we go. All
Yes.
right, back to business.
Your dex is 18, so I'll say you do 4 points of damage as you strike him.
Nice.
Right.
Kirv just smirks, impressed.
Cat's next to Kirv just looks mortified.
Mortified, in fact.
Literally.
All right, let's try and keep the violence to a minimum now. But I do, whilst doing the pinching my brow type thing, I do just sort of do a little glance up at Mortar and go and just give him a little wink. We should.
So, so what's the plan now?
The
for the
plan
sake of
now
Cat.
is going to court.
Oh.
That's not
On
the
that
only
note-
thing.
Looks over at everyone. Has anyone ever been to court?
Not from your side of things. However, there was a period where I was involved in a number of official dealings, one of which did include dealing with the courts.
I mean, I've been detained before, but I've always escaped before it's gone to court.
Cat just doesn't look surprised in the slightest. Just like,
Yeah, that's
"Oh,
fine.
okay, yeah, no, that checks out. That makes sense. Complete sense. Yeah, yeah.
I think I may have robbed a courtroom once. Does that count?
Okay.
She's currently now
I
looking
think-
at her hooves and just
Beau,
like,
what
oh.
about yourself?
You'll all do fine.
Mortar nods, very impressed with Vinny.
Right. If I may, the court date is very important, and I would like to speak on that. However, seeing what we just saw, in the mindscape or soulscape. It's a little hard to really tell. I have some questions about that, and Theomar, I would like us to have a working relationship for the good of Cat. Are you amenable to this?
Depends on what you ask. Certain things I can't answer, but I'll say what I can.
You've been working on this for a while. I gesture to the blackboard. You are aware of who my mother is. If there is anyone who is an expert on souls,
she would make a fine candidate for talking and discussing, but at the same time, I believe while things are undergoing, I believe she is unable to intervene.
Unable to intervene in matters involving myself. However, you are in a position to speak with her.
In general.
On behalf of Cat. I
Your-
narrow my eyes. What
your
do you mean?
Your father's declaration for having a new heir was nice, having everybody meet together and start this competition was all good fun. After hearing about it from your other father, as Chris forgets the name of the head of Clan Lupin.
Oh, God, fuck, let me open my notes.
Yeah, you and me both. Hold up. You were raised by... no, Tolman Fenris was your...
Tolman was
mentor.
the person who went through with me, who was my mentor.
Cerevic.
Cerevic, yes.
Yeah, Cerevic Fenris. I was heard from Cerevic as to what happened, as well as several other individuals of importance regarding your family's relations and what has occurred. Here is the problem. Your father is now no more, split into various pieces, ones that I believe he divided amongst all of you.
Oh, that's so much more obnoxious than it needed to be.
And because of his disappearance, your mother is now having to hold everything that he was supposed to together.
Right.
As it stands, we do not have her, which means that we do not have any form of protection against anything exceedingly dangerous. Hence, why I haven't intervened at all in any matters regarding... gestures to Cat. Leaving isn't exactly something I can do. As right now, I am your father's placeholder.
Oh,
Right.
in regards to the matter at hand regarding Kat's trial, can you tell us who's going to be judging her? Some names would be good. If you have access to that kind of thing.
Mortar, before we go any further, nothing illegal.
Never said anything illegal. I just want to know
And-
that we're getting... Hey, whoa. Shut up a second. Answer the question, old man.
He looks to Onveki, who's busy downing a glass of whiskey. No, not just a... Oh no, sorry. A bottle of whiskey. There we go. Not just a glass, a bottle of whiskey. As he then puts the bottle down and looks... As he sees Theomar looking at him and goes... The people who will be in the court are going to be the High Kings of the grouped... rolled not all that great on his con save. That's all right. Oh no, he gets advantage. He's a dwarf.
Alliance.
Yeah. Let's do that. No, the various dwarven kingdoms will all be meeting together with their point towards this because she is my student. I will be impartial and cannot vote, but there are various individuals from all over. There are representatives from various dwarven kingdoms, those within the Fronvale, plenty of those from Taros, and several from Gravecap. We've even got a few all the way from Salt Peaks looking to involve themselves in this. This is a matter of national security because, just to Romulus, your father is AWOL.
Right, and if
If
control were to slip,
then...
It would be a situation he would be expected to potentially intervene in.
Yes, which he cannot because he is not there, and your mother is having to pick up the pieces for whatever is left that he has caused trouble with. Again, there's a lot of complicated stuff here, but the thing that I can say is that we're all meeting in Gomuldur. I can't say exactly what names will be there. All I know is that there are going to be high kings from each of the major settlements.
What are you thinking, Mortar?
I was more thinking about the judges at Cat's trial.
I believe the
wanna know
kings
that
are
she's-
functioning as sort of
Yeah.
like a panel judge.
There-
I wanted to.
One, two,
I wanted to make sure that there was going to be no bias or any particular schemes going on in the background that may get this trial unfairly run. And I think I want to do a little bit of digging.
There are 15 kings in all who will have their say, either through their representatives or they themselves attending. As it stands, the councils will all be discussing the matter ahead of time. The trial has technically already begun. They are discussing various evidence that is being portrayed to them from other sources. So far, just what they have seen and what they have heard. Things from the lay of the land, people you've met on your journeys, and other things. Paloon is involved, due to the sheer proximity. Those within Zakers as well, along with those of the various individuals from the Flame Guard garrison, and those individuals from further south, from here in the
Are all of them?
Ice King's domain.
Are all of them meeting in the city that we're going to be heading to?
Romulus looks
all
a little
setting up.
Yes.
Romulus blushes a little when the Ice King's domain is mentioned.
The gathering is more for the. He almost pauses for a moment before Theomar puts up a hand. I'll handle it from here. During a court that is otherwise undertaken from either Beastlands or Dwarven City jurisdiction, the nature of it begins a week before the individual is brought to give their testimony. During this time, individuals reply with the various reputations that they have built up. You, as adventurers, have otherwise provided a sound base, shall we say, of what you have done. You have defeated your sister, the demonologist, and helped with trade routes. You have otherwise freed Trenlor's Rest from a unfortunate curse. Dealt with revolutionaries in Zaker's Crossing who had otherwise broken out of Monolith. You had otherwise headed south and done work for the Ice King's domain, and more specifically in Obok Grow. You have done plenty as a group, taking care of various matters and fighting various foes. You have also been a student of Onveki, who has already given his testimony accordingly. In exactly 3 days' time, your testimony will begin. He rubs off a section of the chalkboard and just kind of begins writing. During this time, you will give your testimony, and by you, he kind of circles all of your names that he's written down. All of you will give a testimony for what you understand, including you, Beau. I am aware that you have only just joined this little troop and have been with them for no more than 3 days. But your testimony is still required, even if that testimony is that you know very little.
Am I allowed to smoke in court?
Of course, it's a dwarven court. You're also allowed to drink so long as you're not inebriated when you give your answer.
No promises.
I do have a question. First, in terms of the information we are able to provide, I presume there are measures being taken to make sure that all that which is said will be truthful to the best of our knowledge.
There are what are known as stone scions in the court. Stone scions, for lack of a better term, have a rebound effect should you try to lie in their presence.
So they require a mind to read in order to do this?
Not quite.
Whatever the
They
case may be, as long as veracity can be assured, that's what matters.
looks to Cat as he says this. You understand geomancy and the nature of lithomantic magics?
Mm-hmm.
The earth is naturally
Yeah.
connected to all things equated within a balance. If you lie, then the scions are able to pick that up, detect it. Not by reading your mind, but by reading your level of emotions, heart rate, slight adjustments. They're able to pick up and analyze everything. By the creation of magic, they are otherwise suited to program accordingly and understand the nature of it. From there, a backlash is applied should you try to lie.
So the only ways that a lie could get through is if you truly believed it.
Correct.
Noted.
If there is hesitation, they will know,
No.
and they will know that it is not a lie necessarily. They are very capable, having been trained over several hundreds of years due to the nature of the stone.
That's good. Right. Do you think that cats will get out of this without action being taken?
Most likely. Me coming here was part of my initial agreement to involve myself with this. In exchange for not just taking her home, I was given the opportunity to test her. You have passed that test with flying colours, and as a result, I am no longer going to be the conclusion for the test. Or the trial, I should say. The full details of the trial's documents are in all of the books that are on your nightstands when you go to rest. Read it if you wish. If you are not the academic type, then just wing it. I'm sure you'll be fine. I've seen what you've all done today. I'm pretty sure that you'll be fine. And also, my name is Theomar Fleethoof. It's a pleasure to meet you, Kirv, Mortar, Beau, Vinny, and Romulus. I apologize, I've been keeping an eye on you all for quite some time due to this one. Gestures to Cat.
I'm used to the feeling.
At the
I
very
know.
least, I already knew you were keeping an eye on me before this point, so...
That is true. And just so we are
Mortar's
clear,
eyes narrow at that.
as your father's placeholder, I am not allowed to get involved, so please do not try and ask me to hedge any bets. I am simply the doorman trying to make sure that nothing gets through to cause troubles.
Understood. Can I ask a question, though?
Go for it.
Who of me and my siblings would you wish to see ascend to the throne? Or, if that is too hard, who must not, for the good of us all?
I am not one who can say. Any of you can be tempered. Much like steel, you can be adjusted to match the role that you need to fit. Some of you, however, have acquired power through dangerous and violent means. Professor has already broken the rules twice.
Do you know if she is still alive?
To my understanding, but I do not know her current whereabouts.
I suspect I know.
As for who I might want to win, any of them will be fine. Most of them have been raised in good hands by a specific people, and they all have their own methods. You yourself was raised by one of the fur coats. There are plenty others who were as well. So I cannot say for certain who I would like to win, but I can certainly say that Professor has broken the rules and cannot be the one to reach it.
I doubt that will stop her from trying.
Indeed. She may have made powerful allies, and that is dangerous.
I have a second question. Can I name an heir?
No.
No?
Not... Let me ask again as a clarification then. After you have potentially gotten all of the pieces, or prior?
Prior, on the basis that I do not know that I am the right choice.
No.
But I know that there are those that cannot be the right choice.
Prior? No. After? Yes.
So we're not beholden to this fucked up carnival game in future.
After you win, you can declare an heir. The terms of it all were left rather empty.
I see you're just as fond of my father's choices as I am.
Yes. His work affects us all.
Wait, so... Hold on, sorry. This whole game with you and your siblings, that's not mandated. It's not something that has to happen.
Oh,
Oh well, it has to
It
happen
has to
now
happen.
because the what's it called? Eternal Lord, the
yes.
Undying
King.
or Undying Lord, whatever. Yes, it has to happen because that has been the decree, and he's kind of just gone and done it. But in future, it doesn't have to remain that way.
Correct.
This whole thing is just his idea of a joke, then.
Correct.
If someone were to become the Undying Lord, and then could they change the rules permanently in a way that no other Undying Lord could?
So long as he hasn't made some everlasting damage, yes.
So I could make sure this doesn't happen again.
Potentially. Again, I don't know the full details of the contract. That is something between him and his wife.
Final question.
Okay,
won't
don't
be-
say
Do you
final.
have a
I
spell?
have so many more
It
questions.
won't be the it won't be the final question, but keep believing it will be. Go on.
It'll be the final question from me. Do you have a spare whiteboard?
Yeah, blackboard, but yes.
Great.
Whiteboards are nice,
Can
but
I
they're
have it?
bad for the eyes. And he gestures, and a blackboard kind of morphs out of the wall with several bits of coloured chalk below.
Trust me, his eyes can't get any worse.
It's officially
Mortar-
anti-light mode.
Mortar will then take a piece of chalk, and he will, I guess he'll see kind of where the rooms are.
How do you mean where the rooms are?
He's got some. We mentioned that we have rooms.
Yeah, there are doors.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused why you wanted the chalkboard.
Oh, I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Right.
You each have personalised rooms, for the most part, just as a general heads up. Your rooms are accustomed to your general outfit, so some rustic nature to for Mortar and Kirv to a certain extent, but they are still comfy, they're still welcoming, they're still very nice, but they aren't like overly plush to the point that you're feeling out of your depth or like you're sinking. It is comfortable for every single one of you. Though your rooms are all different, adjusted according to your own homely wants and needs.
Nice. Alright, so that absolutely wasn't the last question from me. I have many. Right. Is there any way to lighten the load upon my mother in order to free her up so that she can assist with Kat's parents?
If I cannot, I doubt you can. Maybe in time. As it stands, we're dealing with some, from what I understand, she is dealing with some rather dangerous individuals, courtesy of you. Gestures to Vinny.
Ah,
Oh.
I saw you using the Modify Memory spell.
Correct. Although I will say that I am tapped for the day in terms of being able to do certain spells.
Vinny, your memory situation, it might be worth discussing.
Modify memory is 6th level, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So he can only do
Yeah, I
it
think so.
once per day unless he... No, it's 5th level. He can do it near infinite. Well, I say near infinite. He can do it 15 times today.
Jesus.
Nice.
He has a lot of spell points left.
My guy.
The advantage of being a level 20 caster.
Mm.
Why do you
Is
ask?
Is that a spell that you use often?
Not often. It's one that I use for certain... He pauses, as if holding back something that he doesn't want to say.
Mm.
I use them when I need to
Okay,
remember or forget things.
Let me be more specific then. In all your time using that, have you ever experienced a giant memory monster?
No, that is a first, I will admit. But then again, gestures to Cat. I have met one now.
Okay, because the thing that you're dealing with up north, I'm afraid I have no memory of what actually happened there. If you've been following us, then perhaps you know, I was able to rescue Harlan, who might remember more.
Down south, not up north. You're on the southern hemisphere. But that's okay. Hello?
Hello? Oh, I thought it was...
No, because you went down south to get to the Ice King's domain if you're going towards the mountains where you rescued
Oh,
Carver.
right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
'cause-
I was mistaken at where he was talking about.
No, that's right. Oh, unless you're okay, if you're referring to the other thing, then no, that's not what he's referring to.
Okay. Right, okay, I see. Yes, just because you're apparently very skilled with memories, and I'm missing a lot of mine.
Well, maybe we can do something about that. I will say not tonight. Some of us
Maybe.
will need rest.
No, fair enough. I know I'm not directly your responsibility, but that thing inside of Cat, it reached out to an ally of its. Connection to one of us. I don't believe I've ever heard of anything like that, but without my memories, I can't be confident.
He taps the chalk against his lip before turning around and rubbing out your names and kind of drawing something small in the corner. Kat, go ahead and roll me a history check.
Okay. Okay. That is 15.
Okay, this is entirely down to your note taking then. He writes tallow sting.
Where the hell do I know that name from?
Was that something related to Husk? I might be getting my names mixed up.
Yeah, I don't know. I recognize the name. Someone I met at the court when I went.
It's not a person, it's a place.
Sounds like a. Oh, okay.
Nice. Hello, Sting.
As he writes the second word, excavation.
Oh, Jesus of fury. Is it where we all kind of got bodied by that
The chain guys,
creature?
right?
This is Kat's backstory stuff. This is when
okay.
Hearn nearly died.
Her nearly died. I deciphered the tower thing outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, good lord. It's just to see the word of Talos Sting, just like shiver goes up Cat's back. It's like, oh. A little bit of waffle spits out. She's oh.
He taps it. That has been what your mother has been dealing with. Looks to Romulus.
I don't. Sorry, my blank for a second. Run that by me again.
He taps words that mean nothing to you. Only Cat knows what this really means.
I'm afraid I'm not the scholarly type.
There's a creature in a ruin that kind of nearly killed Hearn. Very quickly.
Nearly killed Theomar too.
It's strong.
Not something any of you can help with currently.
We need to get stronger.
Indeed. But there are other things and other matters that we can deal with first. For the time being, I recommend you all rest. Cat, if it is alright, I would like to discuss this. And gestures to the illusions in the air.
Yeah?
If you have any
by
other
all means.
questions, please ask at a later date. We have another 3 days to sort out what needs to be done before the court date, and then I will unless you wish to go there early, in which case I can teleport you there prior. But I would at the very least like you all to rest before we leave.
Just to check, is it a breach of security if, for example, I were to discuss matters of your test here today with anyone else? Or is that fair game at this point?
Only with me, preferably.
Hmm.
There are still things that are dangerous about this. We succeeded, yes. But right now, if the court learns that you are holding multiple souls, they may be less than appealing to that matter.
Understood. Just for a note, whilst my nightly calls to the Ice King will still be occurring, I will keep this stum just with an explanation that we are dealing with a personal matter that I'm not allowed to share at the moment, but all is well. If it comes up.
Yeah. He will explain that he understands and that he's glad that all of you are okay and that things are progressing well with Cat and grandfather. Says from his experience with Theomar, he can be a hard teacher, and that can sometimes be his undoing. But he means
there definitely
well.
is at least 5 minutes of Romulus being like, "Oh, he's such a poor grandparental figure. Oh, he doesn't know how to provide proper positive reinforcement and care for his child." And there's probably a little bit of
the Ice
to calm me down.
Yeah, that's fair. The Ice King will not necessarily provide excuses necessarily, but will provide reasoning as to why he is like that. You are already partially aware that Theomar is a warlord for all intents and purposes, and he was one of the few who tried to support the Fluxian people when they tried to flee, who were there at that time trying to be massacred, and a genocide was attempted by the Shaggy Mane clan. Theomar, during that time, actively fought against his own people and rallied assistance, as well as fighting in the War of Seeking as to rebel against the necromantic lords who originally owned the Alliance. He has been in his fair share of war. His teachings, for as far as what you hear and understand, are all based on what he has learned. He is not kind, he is tactical. And that, unfortunately, has bled into his family life.
I get it. Like, I
Oh,
think
yeah,
even
yeah.
Romulus gets it, just doesn't like it.
No, that's entirely fair.
Which-
You don't have to like it, it's just the reasoning for what the Ice
Yeah.
King lets you know, and he says he doesn't like it either. Unfortunately, it's something that you could try and correct as much as you want, but Theomar is who Theomar is.
I think, like, obviously we move on to other nicer things,
Yeah.
but I do think that Romulus just ends it off with, I will do anything for my child.
I know.
Even put up with him. I'll just try and make sure that where he is insufficient, I will do my best. And where I am insufficient, I hope that he can cover my weaknesses.
Okay.
The urge to immediately go into like inappropriate sending stone texting like sexting is just incredible. No, it's being much more wholesome than that.
But now that is
I
there, we now know that what happens for the remaining 3 minutes of the
Yeah.
call. Right.
Exactly.
Zooming away from that with a with speed that has not been discovered as it is faster than light. In this moment, is there anything anyone would like to do before going to bed? If that's punch Theomar again, by all means you
No,
can try.
it's
He
not.
will dodge this time.
As and when everybody's finished whatever they want to do, Mortar would like for Beau, Vinny, and Kirv to meet him in his room.
Wow, this is
For
gonna be a
everyone
fun
listening.
night.
Sorry. Who was that in your room?
That was everyone except Romulus and Cat.
Wow, I'm being left out of the orgy again.
No, that's fine, because Romulus, you would actually, as you do get to sleep eventually, there is a knock on your door during the middle of the night.
Oh.
Oh, damn. Everyone's getting a bit.
I'll open the door, and I think what you see is a Romulus that looks absolutely stressed out of his mind. And there are like 3 separate books up on a table, and he's like making notes. Like clearly he has been like making notes, but he's like not super great with a quill. Like he's fine, but it's like it's clear that this isn't something he does normally.
It's
And
chicken
he's
scratchings as
slightly
opposed to fine calligraphy.
Yeah. And he's reading through the book on what's going on with the thing, with the what do you call it? What's going on with the court date, and also looking at stuff with runes to try and understand what's going on. Just basically trying to, like, haggard dad trying his best to learn. Anyway, and it opens the door looking a little bit haggard.
You see Hearn standing there.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello. Bring your weapon. And he turns around and enters back into the main chamber.
Damn.
I'm 90% sure that wasn't a come on. Okay. Goes and picks up. I think for this one it's still got to be Stagger. Stagger is currently my best weapon, and I will need my best, I think.
Okay. You see, sat on the stool against the edge, you see what looks to be a bleary-eyed Ishlan elf individual. Kind of, he's blinking his eyes a little bit, as he seems to be quite tired. He yawns, and you see that the sand pit is there as Hearn enters the ring, and you see he lowers his great axe.
Okay. Right. It's rather clear we're going to be engaging in some form of sparring or training.
He nods.
Terms?
No death blows. Until one is unconscious or surrender.
What do you expect? Well, I doubt you'll be gaining much from this, so what do you expect me to gain from it?
See what you have to become, for her sake. And he hefts his axe, and in that moment you watch as the sand wall appears, as the elf kind of does a few gestures in the air very sleepily. The wall is a bit more faulty this time. He is drunk and tired. But
good enough for our fight.
But good enough for your fight. I will say, for the sake of brevity, we won't go through the mechanical side of it. But as you do fight, I will say it is not necessarily a losing battle on your end. You hold your own. You are skilled. You are capable. The fight does go on a little while, and blood is shed to the point that Hearn gets to a point where he feels satisfied with understanding and seeing what you are capable of. It takes a bit out of you, and you also have this time to let off steam, as you just feel the anger is able to subside a bit. The feeling of something better. He is a Bear Totem Barbarian. He is also a Rune Knight. To carbon copy.
Yep.
As you see that you were already on the correct heading, the correct path. And in this instance, he feels this was more for Hearn to reassure himself that you are the correct person. You see that he is happy with who you are and is glad that you are there for Cat, in a place where he and the previous bodyguard who used to work alongside Theomar was as well.
When we pull away, I presume either from a point where he is satisfied and calls it off,
Yeah.
or a point where he is satisfied and it is clear that anything further would be pointless, so I would call it off.
Correct. Yeah. One of those two.
And I don't think it really matters which at this point. I will have a little sit down, holding onto Stagger to sort of prop me up a little. I didn't expect it. Just came across her one day. She was in trouble. I had to help. And she was alone, and I couldn't just leave her. And then time went by, and, well, she's my daughter now.
He nods understandingly, but says very little. You get the sense that he's not the talkative type.
That's all right.
He, after the fight, kind of sits down with you, takes Stagger and looks Stagger over before handing Stagger back. He nods approvingly.
I don't know if I would still be trying even a little bit for the throne if it wasn't for her. Because there needs to be someone that can be trusted looking after the big threats. Otherwise, she'd be in danger. Isn't that silly?
Not at all. We fight to protect. Better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a warrior in a war zone. Well, depends on what you're into.
I wish there were more gardeners in war zones.
There are. You're looking after one.
You're aware of what's going on with my family.
Not as much.
If I get the sense that, well, Theomar said about tempering. Whoever ends up becoming the next Undying is going to be shaped into what they need to be.
Hmm?
Given how certain members of our family have been, if I don't succeed, there's a chance I won't be here.
Maybe.
It's good to know that you and Theomar are around.
There are others who have her back as well. Although they may not be able to do as much as they are further away. After this court hearing, they'll be glad to hear she's alright.
Good. Good. Would you like to forge things?
No, not particularly.
Prefer to focus on the fighting.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I am a dab hand good at knitting, though.
Oh, I cook. I'm gonna bring out one of my tasty treats because I realize I haven't handed those out in a little while, so I'm just gonna hand one over. Here, try. This one's apricot with honey and a little dash of cinnamon.
He takes it and eats it. It's good. It's sweet for my taste, personally, but then again, most of what I eat is just Granny Smith apples.
Oh, I love a good apple. What's it like working for Theomar? Or with Theomar? I don't really know exactly what your situation there is.
I've protected and worked with him since we were both teenagers. And just for reference, both Theomar and him are in their late 60s.
Long time.
Yeah. Fought in wars. Fought in the War of Seeking. Fought during the genocide times. I had to fight against my own family. I had to kill my own family. I had to kill my father. He was the one who started this whole thing. Well, the genocide anyway.
I'm sorry that you had to do that, but...
It's what needed to be done. For the better of all people.
Exactly.
My brother leads now. He knows better. And he knows that I will cut his head too if he gets too close to where our father stood.
The weight of being the protector is sometimes having to protect things from the people you care about.
Indeed.
Maybe I'm not that good of a protector after all.
Protecting is done in different ways. Don't look down on the way you do. You would have liked Oak. He would have agreed with you. And Hearn stands and kind of shuffles back over, kicks the stool, and you watch as the Eastland elf kind of falls off it to one side.
Right. Well, probably best we get to bed. I've still got some reading to do.
Get your sleep.
I have a really big, like, dad stretch. Like,
yep.
You know, the... and then goes back to reading the law books. Romulus doesn't necessarily get it 100%, but he's trying.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. While you head off back to bed, Kat, you have your discussion with your grandfather regarding the spell. Theomar helps you where he can with that. There are sections of it. This is for... remind me, is this for making the spell that you've learned or the ritual you want to complete?
It's the ritual I want to complete so I can give Dex his complete form.
Okay.
And form a new dragon.
Yeah. He looks through the details, works on the various bits of the spell, kind of helps you go along and work with it. It's going to take more time and study to kind of complete the ritual, but you have several days to potentially do that. So we will make rolls and discuss that out of character for the full details on what you're looking for, and then what that will take from both of you when it comes to inputting it. Meanwhile, Mortar, you called 4 members of the party to your room.
Indeed, I did. I called 3 parties. 3 members of the party. I
Oh yeah,
Kirv,
4 including
Beau,
you. Sorry.
and Vinny.
Mhm.
So I think that when they all, as they all arrive, and open the door to Mortar's room, you can see the blackboard that Mortar's been took from downstairs, and the chalk. He's currently written down some names of some of the things that were discussed downstairs, specifically regarding who was going to be judging the trial. And Mortar's currently just sat on a table at the minute, just looking at it. He sees you guys and goes, "Ah, glad you accepted my invitation. Come and take a seat."
And
Where
then
are the-
smoking, I walk in.
Are there seats here?
As it's
Nice.
mentioned, you watch as seats begin to form from the walls and almost begin to pull themselves over.
Oh, wow.
Mortar pretends he's doing it.
No. That's convenient.
Make me a performance
And
check.
Kirv
I know,
sits
right?
down.
Make
I'll
me a
make a
performance check.
performance. Okay. Even if this isn't good, hold on, my computer's being weird.
Well, if you get a good roll or a bad roll,
my
either way, it's
performance.
funny.
Oh yeah, either way. Performance is +3, so here we are.
5.
Nice, that's a 5. It looks
You
it looks awful.
like Doctor Strange when he's first trying to learn to do the magic. There are sparks in the air, but he's not actually doing anything. He's just trying to make it look like he is.
I feel like Mortar kind of like holds out his hands and moment looks really like concentrating, and then he drops the chalk, and then he kind of goes, "Oh shit," and picks the chalk up again, and they're still floating. He's like, "Ah, fuck it." So as
I'll
you guys
just
can
stand.
take your seat, okay, or if you sit, or if you stand, he kind
I'll
of
just
looks at you and
stand.
goes, "All right." He kind of looks at you and goes, "All right."
The chair shrugs and merges with the wall again.
It's like, no, I respect that. I respect that. I thought that move before. So basically, what he's written down on this board is he's gone, okay. So I brought you guys in specifically because, personally, I'm kind of worried about this trial. I don't know about you guys. It's been on my mind a lot recently, and it really concerns me that we don't know anything about really what we're getting into, or who's going to be the ones who are going to be judging Cat, and who are going to be hearing our witnesses for like our testimonies. So, for all we know, these guys, there could be some scheme or some collaboration going on between them in which Cat will lose this definitively. There's nothing to say that this is in any of our favors or that this is fair or anything like that. So, what I'm suggesting to you 3 and myself is that we investigate, we do a little bit of recon on these guys, and he's written down the High Kings of the Court, underlined, Dwarven Kingdoms, representatives from Fronvale, Taros, Gravecap, Salt Pigs, and the Ice King's domain. And from the Ice King's domain, he's drawn a little line with an arrow down with Romulus written down underneath. And he taps Romulus's name and says, the reason I didn't want to get Romulus involved is because he has personal ties to the Ice King's domain, and this may complicate things for him. We, from what I've gathered, you guys and myself, we see the world in a bit of a more morally grey area, and I think that this is the only way this kind of plan is going to work. And before I go any further, anybody who doesn't want any piece of this, feel free to leave now.
Do any of you leave?
I want to do what I can for Cat. I'll
Mortar
do my
nods.
best.
I don't think this is the kind of thing I'm best suited at, and a part of me was hoping that it wouldn't be necessary. But I think you are right. Whatever we can do to make sure they see things our way, I think we have to.
I'm not suggesting anything necessarily underhanded. What I'm suggesting is reconnaissance, a bit of information gathering, some backgrounds, some names even. Whatever we can get is information we have that we can figure out who is on our side and who definitely is not. And I'll look at Beau and I'll go, obviously you're the newest around here, Beau, and from what I've seen, you not afraid to get your hands dirty, so I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here. You in?
Got nothing else to do. Why not?
Attaboy.
I will say,
and then
just from
Yeah.
just from
no,
experience,
please.
if we do get caught, it could cause problems. So we have to be careful.
Which is why I chose you guys. You guys are either very well versed in deception or stealth or means of getting out of places or getting into places that are hard to get into. So, what I want to do is I want to divide the workload between us all as evenly as possible, and maybe we can try to gather some information while we're here, and maybe if we're able to leave either the day or 2 days before the trial, we can try to gather some more information while we're actually in the city, as whatever we can. So, that's what I'm proposing. And I didn't want to get Kat involved because she seems to already have enough on her plate as is, with everything going on with her grandfather and the trial itself looming over her. I didn't want to burden her with this.
I
that
think
was her
that would be for the
grandfather.
best, yeah.
I thought I had family problems.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yes, apologies.
So-
I keep forgetting that we're kind of throwing you in the deep end here.
Yeah,
That's
so,
fine.
well, first off, another thing, Beau, like, if you have any questions as well while we're here, shoot, because we need everybody to be as up to speed with each other as we can be if we're going to be working together. So,
No, I kind
Ask
of get the
speed.
gist of it. She's almost got something in her that's taking control every now and again, and she's under trial for it, and we got to stop it from happening. I get it.
okay,
I've only just joined. I don't really want the team to fall apart straight away.
understandable.
Yes, she has
Alright.
already a bit more control than she did when we met initially.
Hmm.
We were looking into a means to make her living chain friend even stronger, because he helps to some extent.
Yeah.
We're working on it, basically.
Yeah.
But if we could divide the work between us in terms of finding out names of who the judges are actually going to be, whether it's the representatives or the kings themselves, getting a little bit of background info. I guess, do any of these seem to appeal to anybody in particular? So again, we've got the Dwarven Kingdoms, representatives from Vale, Taros, Bravecap, Salt Peaks, and the Ice King's domain. If anybody wants any of these in particular.
I can't say I have any particular feelings towards any of them.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I can't say I'm massively familiar with anything regarding Beastlands or Dwarven Kingdoms or anything real kind of government related. So all of this is a bit over my head. The only places I'm kind of familiar with are obviously the Ice King's domain where we've been. Have I been to any of these other places, Chris?
You probably would have passed by one of the Dwarven Kingdoms in the Gravecap Spire, probably south of it. Or what's going on there?
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. I pressed the wrong button.
That's right.
Just calling shenanigans.
That's right. So you probably passed underneath the Gravecap Spires geologically, I mean.
Okay.
So, but otherwise you wouldn't have gotten too close. Most of your life wouldn't have been near many of them.
Yeah.
Like the closest one
was
you
gonna
pass
say, yeah.
by is like a 6-day journey away, maybe a week journey. And that would have been when you were crossing the border from the Majocracy to then get close to Dry Deep.
Okay.
Tell you what, give
All
me
right,
if it would be okay, give me the dwarven one, because I have
Okay.
the belt that lets me talk to them, and it might get
that's
him in
huge.
there.
Yeah, okay, so Mortar writes Kirv's name next to Dwarven Kingdoms.
Just so you know, all of these
okay.
are dwarves.
Oh,
So-
okay.
There
Yeah.
are the
So
there are the 15 dwarven kingdoms plus a chief representative from who is either going to be taking the place of one of the kings if they can't attend it, or the royal individual, whoever that may be. And then there's one from each of the main mountain ranges within the area as a whole: Gravecap, Rustline, Taros, Fronvale, Ice Kings, Salt Tongue, Salt Peaks, and Stoneface. So there are a lot of representatives who will be here to judge the whole thing, as this is a high security court, effectively.
of course, yeah. Even if we only get a few names and a few, just like getting something on them is better than just going in completely blind, which is kind of the aim here. Our goal isn't to necessarily achieve, getting intel on every single person. If we can do that, that's brilliant. But our primary goal is to basically go, okay, who is on our side and who isn't? Like, who can we kind of rely on? Who will be honest in their judgment?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll say.
Tell you what.
Okay,
since-
so
Oh, sorry.
Hmm.
No, go on, Chris.
I was going to say, if you want, what we can do, because obviously we have, we're getting close to our end time here.
Yeah.
We will have the long rest conclude, followed by, you will then teleport to Gomuldur, where the court will be being held, and there you'll be able to explore and meet with some of these representatives and make your judgments on them there and then, deciding who you might then want to target from there. And I think that's something we could do next week
Perfect.
or beyond.
We could also we'd be able to have each other's backs in that sense as well.
One thing
that is very true. That's
one
very true.
thing that does catch your attention, I'll say, because your perception is very high and you can actively see through illusions a bit more, Mortar. One of the guards, notably the Ishlan elf one, does sneak into your room and listen to the whole thing. And he is sat in the corner, kind of leaning up against the corner, kind of watching and taking notes almost.
And that is why, class, you always show up on time and you never interrupt the teacher while he's talking. And Mortar flicks the chalk at him. Not necessarily to hit him. I'm not trying to do damage. It's more just to make him aware that.
Well,
that
I
see him.
just did a quick roll on my end to see what would happen. As you flick the chalk, he's blearily watching, and with disadvantage, he gets whacked in the head by it, and just kind of rubs his forehead. And you can see, like, there's this where Mortar has flicked this. It hasn't hit the back wall, but you see that a chalk mark appears and then disappears as it was floating in midair. As he rubs his forehead, stands up and just kind of dismisses the illusion. Well, it's certainly been fun. Where do I sign? And I think that is where we will leave the session for today.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Incredible.
As he is one for mischief, so he wants in.
Fair enough.
So
Okay,
we have Romulus and
Fantastic.
Cat preparing for the court, and then we have the other 4 plus one of Theomar's royal guards who are preparing, in quotations, for the court.
Mhm.
I'm just
we
looking
are
forward to
preparing.
when I get to do my. Well, I'm just a humble country Minotaur. However, do you not believe that when a child is afflicted with a disease, that one should focus on the well-being of the child as opposed to trying to eradicate the disease? Are y'all
you were gonna say
murderers?
Somewhere
I
in
thought you were
Zaka's
saying
Crossing,
opposed.
a detective shivers like he's being watched.
Benoit Bonk.
Benoit Bonk is somewhere in Zaka's Crossing,
You
shivering.
do realize at some point, if things do develop well with the Ice King, I am going to have to take. God, what is this? I did get his actual name right. I'm not going crazy.
The Ice Kings.
Yeah.
He told you to refer to him as Your Majesty throughout the entire session.
I believe so. I don't think he gave you necessarily his personal name for the sake of security, but he it's one of those things that will come with time and trust.
That's okay. Did he give me something to actually call him? Because like I'm suddenly thinking like, do I have a proper name for him? And like this feels inappropriate that I don't already have this, and I feel like I would have picked it up.
I'll say he would probably give you a temporary name or a quote unquote pet name for you to call him for the time being, because
so
he's
fine with this.
Because he probably doesn't want to give you his proper name for the sake of, like you said, security, because it puts you in danger. Meanwhile, having a pet name works fine for him.
Do you want me
Anyway,
to come
I
up
will
with
say,
something, or do you
speaking
want
of-
to come up with
I'll
something?
let you
Speaking
come
of,
up with that. That could be good fun.
yeah. Speaking of Glenmore Bonk, it's a good thing that it's only Cat that's on trial here, because all the rest of us have a
Oh,
very
agreed.
dangerous character witness waiting in the
Yeah,
wings.
I'm an outstanding citizen. What are you on about?
Yeah, Beau's the only one who doesn't have a smudge on his record until he goes home. So, for the stream, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. We will hopefully be back next week.
I am unfortunately away for 2 weeks now.
Ah, darn.
Yeah.
Will everybody else still be here?
I think so. It's gonna be a little bit rough, but I think so.
Jamie, are you
But I
going to be
won't
okay?
the month after. I
Actually,
won't be the week after.
hold on. Jamie, you said that next week was going to be an odd one because of stuff you were doing on Friday and Saturday, correct? Jamie?
Jimmy?
He's already gone.
Sorry, no, I muted up the thing because I got attacked. It's only Friday, Saturday. Paul and someone else are there going to be doing other things on the Sunday evening.
Okay. So I'll say what we'll do. We will say there will be a session next week, but if Harlan, or if anybody else from the other 5 let me know. If you can't do the Sunday, then we will call the session off, and then we'll have the session the week after. Because then we'd still be missing you, Steve, and we'll be
I think we concluded that we were missing 2 people the week
Yeah,
after.
so we'll take
The week after being the 9th,
Oh.
you mean?
yes.
Yeah, the 9th.
Yeah,
I'll be
I
running
think
late. as
I'm
well.
not around there either.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. Next week we will play it by ear. The 9th will definitely be skipping, and then we'll be back on the 16th at the latest. So you might get 2 weeks off to study up on your law protocols regarding how court works, and then bring the homework back to me and completely school me, because I won't be doing that research. So, no, we all know
I
I'll
will
be
just
making
continuously
something up.
scream, I object.
I
Honestly, that's
object.
the best way forward.
Oh,
Yeah.
object.
Speaking of, is Cat actually on trial for any specific crime? Or is it just
Like murder.
for being dangerous?
The trial is for being a world-ending threat.
Oh, of all the things to have been put on trial for.
Yeah, for being a unknown, dangerous, ancient entity that created a crater in the middle of nowhere and killed several people. So she's on murder for stuff that she doesn't have direct control over. So it's not necessarily her that's on trial, more the ability to control the creature that's on trial. But anyway, for the stream, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. We might see you next week. If not, we'll see you on the 16th. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.